Clyde One's Super Scoreboard podcast with Taggart's Volvo, part of the Lookers family. Click and Drive, the simple contactless way to buy a car. The winning team, all season long. This is Clyde One Super Scoreboard.
Wow, what a start to the day we've had in the Scottish Premiership. Celtic one up, creating chance after chance after chance. You're thinking routine 3 points. All of a sudden, St Johnstone score in the 93rd minute to pull level, and then Celtic score in the 95th to win at Hugh Keevins and move 5 points ahead of Rangers, who now go and play St Mirren. And in our wacky world, the Rangers fans who were going into the game, they heard the equaliser, they were beeping their horns, the chance to go level with Celtic, and then up popped Georgios Giakoumakis. So Rangers now need to go and take care of their business anyway and keep the pressure on.
The cliche is a roller coaster of emotions, and a cliche is a comfort at a time like this, because the roller coaster of emotions stretch from Perth to Govan. But Celtic have to be, of course, absolutely thrilled and delighted with their win, but there were many flaws contained within it, and that there are questions that Ange Postecoglou has to answer. And I think Ange Postecoglou got away with one himself today, because he took off the big hitters like O'Reilly and Tatati before the game was anything like settled. And at 1-1, that looked a very serious mistake. But Giakoumakis, who had done next to nothing all day long, popped up with the winner, and it all of a sudden became a magnificent 3 points for Celtic, because had they drawn, had they failed to capitalise on all the domination that they had, they were playing into Rangers' hands. And now the pressure does switch to Rangers, because they simply cannot afford to slip up against the resurgent St Mirren.
It seems, whether it's Real Madrid or St Johnstone, a lot of Celtic's problems start with not taking chances. That today, very easily, we're sitting here saying 3-0, 4-0, and there's no fuss, and the substitutions aren't questioned, and Ange Postecoglou's not questioned, and there's no horns being beeped. But once you don't take your chances, St Johnstone got bleating credit to them. You could see it. They were good. They were active. They went forward and got their equaliser. Why are Celtic having so many problems putting chances away at the moment?
It's a good question. It's the first time the manager's had to face such a problem. Look, for years gone back to my time before me, it's always the Celtic backline that usually gets it, and now for once it's the other end. Now, the hardest thing in the game is scoring goals. We hear it all the time, and creating chances. Now, they've got the creating chances but done it a T against the top opposition as well, and today created many chances. But it's just that killer instinct, that final bit of the jigsaw that they're failing in. And it's not just one player, which you could maybe excuse. Kyogo, Giakoumakis, Abada, guys who we've seen in the past year, scoring with ease, are now struggling in front of goal. Now, you would be more concerned as a manager if you weren't creating the chances, of course. So that's the one piece of encouragement they can take. But look, Hugh's right. I mean, what looked like a routine 3 points for Celtic turned into a disaster, has turned into a magnificent 3 points, because when you win league titles at the end of the year, you need a few of them along the road.
Well, that's it, Gordon Dale. Some people, and you're more than entitled to, would look at today and maybe Motherwell and say, oh, this is a team that's struggling. This is a team that's not going to keep winning forever. However, last season, think Anthony Ralston and Dingwall, think Lila Abada at home to Dundee United. Sometimes these are actually the days that kick you on towards a title. So we'll find out between now and May.
I know the discussions about the finishing off teams, and especially at any level, if you don't get that killer goal that's just going to put a team to bed and don't give them any confidence to try and get back in the game, then you're always going to run the risk. And that's what happened to Celtic today. But it doesn't matter if it's the first minute or the 95th minute or whatever it may be. Goals are important, and Celtic have shown that they've got that in their locker. When it all looked like we're thinking points dropped at Perth, what happens? Great ball in. Giakoumakis, who has been horrendous today, had an off day, he comes up with the winner. That's what good teams, good players do when they're against the cosh a little bit. Sometimes you got to be stand up and be counted. Celtic are very good at it. Yes, you can look at the substitutions, you can look at the goals, everything like that, but the bottom line is Celtic went there today and got a valuable 3 points.
But we've also gone on about the chance taking and how poor it was and how much of a problem it has become for Celtic. St Johnstone scored 1 goal and should have scored another, because they had a chance. We can argue which category the chance fell into, but Gordon Duncan, striker of high repute in his day, knows enough to say you've got to score.
Oh,
from
for
there.
sure. I think we're talking about the chronology of it, because the Celtic's chances all come first, and then if you put them away, then that it doesn't sort of pan out that way. But as a manager, what do you do, Hugh? You shake somebody and say score.
Yeah,
be better at putting the ball in the net.
But the point I'm going to make, Gordon, is that we've gone on about the strikers, and Dalziel Maeda has become practically eccentric in front of goal now. But defensively, they're not getting the job done either. There were 2 VAR decisions away from a 5-1 against Leipzig, and today St Johnstone could have scored more than 1 goal. Defensively, they're not formidable.
The argument is 29 goals in games.
Also, see, on the VAR thing, if it rules out the goal, it rules out the goal. It shouldn't then be used as a stick to beat you with. It's an illegitimate goal that doesn't stand.
All right then, they lost 3-1, and today they could have lost 2-1. Defensively, they are not formidable.
But it's been all over the place a bit. Carter Vickers out, Starfelt out, Jens in, Welsh in, today Bernabei and Ralston. They are not as consistent in the back line. I will agree with that, as they were last year. But that will settle down. But early in the season, there's
how many chances did are Celtics and Rangers, for that matter, because they're the big favourites, does the defence basically need to give up no chances? Because I know it was dramatic, right? I get it was dramatic. I was here, I felt the drama. But when you eventually take a breath, St Johnstone maybe had 2 chances then.
Yeah.
Are you only successful if you can limit them to none?
Everybody tells me a league table never lies. They've lost 5 goals in 9 games gone. They've scored 29. So I wouldn't be going anywhere near a panic button just now. Yes, I'm sure that Postecoglou's thinking, look, stick another couple of chances in the back of net, we're on easy street, we don't put ourselves under this pressure. But sometimes when that doesn't happen, you come under the pressure, you've got to respond. And to be fair to Celtic this afternoon, they responded.
And the chances, they will come. It goes in cycles. You can't continue just to miss chance after chance. It will come, right. It's the creating of the chances that's probably harder than anything, and they're doing fine with that. The one concern for me today for Celtic would be the substitutions coming on. We talk about how the squad is big and strong and they've got replacements for each player. I still believe that, but they need to step up. The understudies that come on today were off it by miles, and that needs to improve. The level of performance, because they're good players, the level of performance have to improve for them.
Gordon, Rangers now know what they need to do. Gabriel gave us the teams, so to recap, quite a few changes actually. The headline would be no Ryan Kent from the start. We don't see that too often in the league. So Sakala and Matondo get the chance to support Antonio Cholak, so he returns to the starting 11. And Leon King drops out because it goes back to a back 4. So Tavernier, Goldson, Davies and Barisic, Jack Lundstrom and Arfield in midfield. What do you make of that team and the challenge that lies in wait for Rangers as they look to claw some of that gap back?
I like the look of it, Gordon. I think it's got good pace on it. Cholak's got a point to prove again, to say, look, I want to play in the big games as well as the domestic games. I totally think that most Rangers fans going along to Ibrox or sitting at Ibrox just now will be quite happy in the fact that Kent's been brought out the firing line, because he's not been producing the goods. I think they were more encouraged when Sakala and who was it? Come on, Matondo come on and against Liverpool, gave them a bit of pace, bit of width. But I go back to Sakala, Matondo, great pace. They'll give the width at Ibrox. Me just now, I'm looking at these 2 players, probably like most supporters, thinking every time they do their best work, it's coming off the bench and their impact. They've got to go out and stop that reputation. They've got to go out and say, we can do it from the first minute to the last, and we're going to put a bit of pressure on the manager. I like the look at it. I'm delighted Cholak's back in. I think he's a goal scorer. I think he deserves to be in, and it'll be interesting to see. I fancy Rangers to win this afternoon.
So that's Ibrox. We've already been to McDiarmid Park, and we will go around the rest of the grounds next. The Super Scoreboard podcast is sponsored by Taggart's Motor Group. Taggart's have Jaguar, Land Rover and Volvo showrooms across Glasgow and the West, so you can find the new or used approved car that's right for you. And as Taggart's are part of the Lookers family, one of the largest franchise dealer groups in the UK, you can browse thousands of nearly new and used vehicles in stock nationwide to find your perfect vehicle. They've also launched Click and Sell. It makes selling your car simple by using their trusted dealer network of over 150 sites. Why not give it a go today? See how much you could make on your old car. Taggart's have Land Rover showrooms in Motherwell, Darnley and the north of Glasgow, with their Jaguar and Volvo showrooms found in Hillington. Check out taggarts.co.uk to get your new or used approved Land Rover, Jaguar or Volvo today. Now let's get back to the podcast.
The fastest goals, the experts' opinions. This is Clyde One Super Scoreboard.
Celtic stretched the lead at the top. Many expected that bit, but it was a bit more dramatic than some people would have anticipated. A late winner for Georgios Giakoumakis to see off St Johnstone in the end. Rangers, we know what they now have to do if they want to try and keep up, and we've given you the team there. Let's go to the rest of the games. We can't go anywhere else other than Livingston because the crossbar was bent. Is it straight again, Fraser Wishart?
It's not straight. They've actually had to take the permanent goals out and put, the sort of temporary goals that are on wheels. They've put them in place, and apparently they think it might have been somebody, maybe kids breaking in last night and swinging the bar, but whether the delegate is quite happy with that to happen. I think the linesman, the referees, because what's the option? You put a game off because they've got a wee slightly bent bar and you've got other alternatives. So common sense in Scottish football maybe don't go hand in hand sometimes, but it certainly has happened here. So game's going to go ahead, temporary goals in place, but that was a funny moment. David Martindale out with the jack and the wood trying to straighten the bar. It was really good.
Wow. So the goals you get in the wheels at the side of like Wishaw Sports Centre, Gordondale, that you would use up there, so they're going to be used in a top flight game in the Scottish Premiership, because we think maybe some kids have been swinging on the crossbar and bent it, and the manager getting his toolkit out to fix it was not enough.
Yeah, he'll need to wait his day off tomorrow to get in there and obviously pull it apart and sort it. But
he had a night off last night. He wasn't on security duty to keep the kids out, so he said his night off.
The positive thing for everyone there, the game's going ahead, Gordon. They're obviously the right measurement, so no problem.
I hope somebody has consulted the rule book.
Well, the delegate is happy with it, Fraser Wishart says, so there we go.
I wonder if the delegate had to phone someone else on and go,
absolutely.
By the way, what is the ruling on this? Have we ever had this before?
Get a couple of wee ball boys behind the goals wheeling it to side.
Well, that'll be the thing. See if someone like, if there's a set piece and someone leans on the post, the goal moves.
Yeah. And that's why, I mean, if the delegate says okay, well, it's on the delegate's head, but I'm not entirely sure that this would be allowed to go on elsewhere.
Let's just enjoy the madness. Let's embrace it. Fraser, has David Martindale had time to pick a team?
He has had time to pick a team. I mean, I have to say, I'm not sure the goals will be much in threat these days, because the games I see, they're usually 0-0. There's not much happening, and this could be another one. Livy haven't been great over the last couple of weeks. I've seen them not been at their best, and Ross County, of course, 5-0 during the week, so their confidence will be a wee bit fragile. So hopefully these goals will get tested today, by either team, because you have to say that we're getting to the 10th or 11th game of the season. Ross County need to kick-start their season very quickly. I'll quickly give you the teams for Livingston. 4-1-4-1, Shamal George in goals, Nicky Devlin, Io Balai, Sean Kelly and Christian Montano at the back. Jason Holt sits behind, Dylan Bahambula, Andrew Shinney, Scott Pittman and Joel Newbley, with Curtis Guthrie up front. For Ross County, it's a 4-2-3-1. Ross Laidlaw's in goals, Keith Watson, Jack Baldwin, Alex Iacoviti and Ben Purrington at the back. Davin Cancola and Jordan Tilson will sit in midfield, with Awura Edwards, Ross Callahan and Kazim Olagbe behind the lone striker Jordan White. And the referee, a young guy who's probably had a day he wouldn't have expected, I think, in one of his first Premiership games, is Graham Granger.
Graham, get up the road after this and crack open a cold one. He's had a tough afternoon, the ref, but he didn't expect that on his early start into Scottish Premiership life. A bit more straightforward at Hibs Motherwell, is it, David Friel?
Yeah, Gordon, no problems with the crossbars here, and I'm also happy to report the Motherwell team bus has made it here on time. I don't know if you saw it yesterday, but it broke down on the way from Dingwall in midweek. Stevie Hamill said he and his players needed 3 coaches in the end to get back from their trip to the Highlands and get back in the house at 4 AM, but they've made it safely today and on time, and I'm sure they're arriving at Easter Road full of confidence after that 5-0 win over Ross County. Kevin Van Veen got a hat-trick, he's now in 10 for the season. You know what he's like, he's full of confidence. I'm sure he'll be looking for more today. Looking at the table, Motherwell could even be in third place by tea time with Aberdeen playing later on if they get a win here today and St Mirren lose at Ibrox. But the same goes for Hibs. They start the day in fourth position. I'm expecting a really entertaining game between two good teams. We'll go for it. Looks like pretty similar 4-3-3 formations as well. Hibs have also got a VIP guest. This guy, what a player he was. Frank Sosie is back at Easter Road for the first time in almost 20 years. The French legend played for Marseille, won the European Cup for Marseille. He was nicknamed Le God, that's my standard grade French coming back, during his playing spell at Easter Road, but his time as a manager only lasted 69 days. I don't think he ended in the best terms with Easter Road board, but he's still a hero to the fans, and he's back today as the special guest. So Lee Johnson's side, I'm sure, will be out to impress him today. Hibs have won 3 in a row. They're on a good run of form, and Lee Johnson sticks with the team that won at Ross County last week. David Marshall's in goals, Chris Cadden, Ryan Porteous, Paul Hanlon and Marianne Cabraja at the back. Nolan Kenny, Josh Campbell and Joe Newell will be the middle three, with Martin Boyle and Eli Yuan in behind Mykola Kukarevich. And the subs for Hibs are Schofield, McGuinness, Tavares, Stevenson, Henderson, Melkerson, McCurdy, McGregor and Fish. As for Motherwell, no surprises, they also stick with the team that won 5-0 at Ross County. It's Liam Kelly in goals, Paul McGinn against his old sides at right back, Sondre Solholm, Ricky Lamy and Matt Penny at the back, Callum Slattery, Sean Goss and Blair Spittle in midfield, with Joe Efford and Connor Shields supporting Kevin Van Veen. Subs for Motherwell are Oxborough, Maguire, O'Donnell, McKinstry, Mugabe, Cornelius, Moult, Morris and Tierney. And the referee at a very sunny Easter Road is Grant Irvin.
It's a good game you've got in your hands, David, isn't it? You look at Hibs starting to string some wins together, and then, you know, Motherwell, we're talking a lot about Celtic and chance taking and how, you know, it still can be a good indication that things are going in your way, because Motherwell couldn't score, but they were knocking on the door so often. Stevie Hamill kept the faith, and then I'm not sure many predicted that it would be a 5 in Dingwall during the week, but it all came together at once. Yeah,
it didn't. And sometimes you listen to players saying it will click, and you know we're going to give someone a battering at some point. And after I think the Hearts game, you know, Motherwell lost 3-0 to Hearts, but everybody after that game said how well they'd played, how many chances. And even at Celtic Park last week, okay, they rode their luck, but they gave a good account of themselves, and I think it did all click during the week. You know, 5-0 win, very convincing, very entertaining stuff as well. Kevin Van Veen, he's on fire at the moment, Gordon, but they're up against a really improving Hibs side, I think it's fair to say. You know, 3 wins in a row, they're above Hearts, they want to stay above Hearts, that's how it's ranked in the capital. And as I said, with Aberdeen playing later, both teams have a chance to move up, and obviously they'll be hoping Rangers take care of St Mirren at Ibrox and, you know, maybe push up into 3rd or 4th place.
Yeah, a lot to like about that fixture. Now, of course, we would have gone to Dundee United Aberdeen, but it's a 6 o'clock kick-off, Hugh, an experiment to see how it works. I think the ticket sales have been good. We know that Dave Cormack and the American owners like to try and I know he's not American in that regard, but like to try and do things a bit different and see how they can market the game better and so on. So we'll have to wait to build up to that one.
Well, we understand that sales of tickets for the game have been good. If you're an Aberdeen fan, by my recollection, Aberdeen is 70 miles from Dundee, so you've got a 140-mile round trip. The game will finish around 8 o'clock on a Saturday night, so they do travel in good numbers, those Aberdeen supporters. I have no doubt they'll be there in good numbers tonight, but if they're willing to do it, then supporters of other clubs will show the same willingness, I think.
Do you know who I've not heard from yet? Gordon DL. Can you think?
Roger Hannah.
We've dispatched him to the Championship today.
Yes.
That 6 o'clock kickoff's done him in. He's been sent to Somerset Park. We know he's a proud Ayrshireman. Up against Queen's Park today. Roger Hannah.
Oh, believe me, Gordon, 3 o'clock in Ayr is far, far preferable to 6 o'clock in Dundee. And this game is certain to have implications for the top of the Championship table. Queen's Park, if they win, they will move 2 points clear at the top, having just been newly promoted from League One, of course. Even a draw would take the Spiners level in points with Partick and Inverness after that controversial defeat for Ian McCall's men in the Highlands last night. And an Ayr United victory would take them level with the top two, so the stakes really are high. Queen's Park could have been top if they'd not lost at home to Morton on Tuesday night. So Owen Coyle looking to bounce back from that. And Ayr could also have been up at the summit, but for back-to-back defeats to Raith and Inverness in their last 2 games, their first league defeats of the season. I'll just run through the teams here. I've got Charlie Albinson in goal. It's a back 4: Jordan Houston, Alec Kirk, Frankie Masonda and Paddy Redding. Across the middle, Josh Mullen, Paul Smith, Ben Dempsey and Logan Chalmers. And up top scorer Dippo Akinyemi with Brad Young. On the bench, McAdams, O'Connor, McKenzie, Mitchell Lawson, Ashford and McAllister, McGinty, Bangala and Ekrapon. As for Queen's Park, it's Callum Ferry and goal as a back four also. Jason Naismith, Lico Day, Stephen Eze and Tommy Robson. Across the middle, Jack Thompson, Malachi Boateng, Grant Savoury and Dom Thomas. And up front, Scott Williamson with the captain, Simon Murray. On the bench, Herity, Longridge and Kenny, McPeak, Davidson and Moore, Bannon, Jarrett and David Boateng. The referee is Don Robertson. It's been interesting. People here in the press box have been following the Livingston crossbar debate on Super Scoreboard there, Gordon, but they assure me David Martindale is not alone. They tell me Gordon Dale was seldom far from a bar when he was manager here.
Yeah, I've heard those accusations as well, but he's a changed man. The reason he can't answer you with some clever comment is because he's too busy eating his salad, which stinks, by the way.
And by the way,
how much does that smell?
It's ruined the afternoon.
This tiny wee studio, it's that wee box we're in, and that stinks.
That's a lovely salad.
I'm not saying it doesn't taste good, but it smells, and it came at a cost because you almost smashed the glass in the shop to buy it. So
yeah, I'm delighted one strand down at Somerset's in good form. That'll be a good game, I've got to say. It's Championship, never easy to get out of.
As you well know, let's hear from the managers ahead of the game at Ibrox, Giovanni Van Bronckhorst and Stephen Robinson.
Well, I think they had a great start of the season. The last 6 games, I think they won 5 games or even. So it's a very good run. They had a great result lately. Very, very recognizable team the way they play. Very aggressive. Find the 2 strikers really quick. A lot of runners from midfield. Transition moments really strong and. Defensive, really compact. So if you are third in the league, it means you started the season well. So credit to St Mirren for the way they started the league.
And of course, the man looking to go there and get something this afternoon is Stephen Robinson.
I think a lot of it's mindset. Obviously it's difficult to recreate a 60,000 stadium. I think Michael Arteta tried to do it before he went to Anfield. I'm not sure our speakers would work here to do that. But it's difficult. It is very difficult to recreate that atmosphere, and it's about the boys playing with calm minds and sticking to what we're good at and not trying to do anything different. And we've reiterated that. We've worked on Rangers' strengths. We've worked on where we believe we can expose Rangers as well. So every team's got weaknesses, every team's got strengths, and we've prepared diligently as we always do.
And there we are then, the scene is set. We know that Celtic have stretched their lead. Can Rangers respond? Will Motherwell's goal scoring continue, or will it be Hibs' impressive run? Will the crossbar remain straight at Livy? All the big questions, and you're about to get the answers next.
Number 1 for football in Glasgow and the West. 0141 951 1025. Clyde One Super Scoreboard.
We take our hat off to you, Hugh Keevins. You got your prediction bang on for Celtic's trip to St Johnstone. What are the 3 o'clock games looking like? You've only got a couple to choose from, and we'll do our featured championship one as well.
Rangers will beat St Mirren comfortably. I hate to do this to you. I think Motherwell will beat Hibs at Easter Road. And Livy, bent crossbar or not, will beat struggling Ross County. And Roger Hanna will watch the mighty Queen's Park beat Ayr United.
Wow. Oh, right,
Mark
okay.
Wilson,
I'm going to go Rangers 1, a Hibs 1. I'll go a Livy 1, Ayr United 1, and an Aberdeen 1 away at Tannadice later.
Gordon Dalziel.
Full house at Ibrox. Rangers for me. Hibs Motherwell draw. Livingston Ross County draw. Ayr United Queen's Park a home win for the Somerset boys.
Clyde One Super Scoreboard Goal Flashes with Clyde Built Home Improvements. Trade accounts available now. Call them today.
Let's go then. 3 o'clock games getting underway, hot on the heels of Celtic's dramatic 2-1 victory at St Johnstone. We are going to hear from Ange Postecoglou and Callum Davidson. We're going to get you a first half teaser. We're going to keep you across all the balls being kicked in the 3 o'clock games, and there'll probably be a little bit of nonsense on a Saturday afternoon for you as well. So sit back, strap yourselves in. I'll give you the nod later when the open line is here, and that's when you can get in touch on the phones and have your say. It was a dramatic start to the day, Hugh, just on a purely dramatic basis. We'd take a bit more of that this afternoon.
But I would find it difficult to imagine that any of the games will have the excitement that was contained within 96 minutes at McDiarmid Park in Perth. It was a sensational start to the day. But for Rangers, they go into the match after the fans blaring and tooting their horns outside because they thought it was going to end 1-1 in Perth. The old demands are there on Rangers. Celtic are 5 points clear and they have to do something about it.
And of course, Gordon Dalziel, that is the challenge. We know that Rangers, the fans going along, that's what you do. You keep an ear out or an eye out for the other results, and you get a brief moment of optimism. Then it just goes back to probably what you expected. They would have expected Celtic to win, and they'll have to respond today. Yeah,
and I think the Rangers fans will be expecting their own team to win today. They're at home. Yeah, you've got to say St Mirren have come into this with good form, but you're away to Rangers. They've made changes, they've got good width, they've got pace. It'll be interesting, but I fancy Rangers to win this one convincingly, Gordon, I've got to be honest.
And before the game even got underway at Easter Road, a huge ovation for the returning Frank Sozzi. What a player he was. The Hibs fans adore him. He's back at Easter Road and they're showing their appreciation.
Silky player, Frank Sozzi, absolutely adored by the fans in Leith. And nice to see him back because he left the club under a cloud after Gordon Dalziel's side had knocked Hibs out of the cup at the semi-final stage. So in actual fact, Gordon Dalziel is responsible.
I did not know that.
Driving
did you not
a
know
wedge.
that?
No, I didn't.
Undone.
Yeah.
He's a master
It's
tactician.
the only story from your career I've not heard about.
He
43
drove
times.
a wedge between Frank Sozzi and Hibs and changed the course of the man's life.
Remarkable.
I can only apologise to Monsieur Frank. He was a very interesting guy to talk to after the game.
I mean, I bet when he looks back on it, the Champions League success, all the France caps, all that, just all ruined because of you, really.
No, I don't think his playing career was. I ruined his management career. But as Hugh quite rightly said, what a football player he was. Talented, brilliant.
Incredible.
Glided
you
across
got
the pitch.
Frank Sozzi the sack. I can't believe I didn't know that.
Tactically outdone him at Hampden on that big pitch with a smaller team. But
you only don't know, Gordon, because during
He's
the break,
forgotten.
when you were at the toilet during the break, he spent the break telling us, me and Hugh, that. So,
but usually you've heard all these stories.
I think he's still got a few up his sleeve that we don't know.
No, but it just the reason, Hugh, that the only way he will fail to tell a story is if he forgets.
Yeah.
We were sitting in there having a coffee before the show the other day, and he hit out with hold on, we've got one of these already.
Goal flashes with Clyde Built Home Improvements.
And it's a goal for Rangers. Antonio Cholak early on opens the scoring. We know what that man is capable of in domestic football, and he's picked up where he left off. An incredible return. 4 minutes on the clock. Rangers 1, St Mirren 0.
He's entitled to go over to Giovanni Van Bronckhorst and say, well, do you still think he made the right decision to start with Alfredo Morelos at Anfield instead of me? For me, after the kind of run that Cholak was on, to be left out by his manager for that game against Liverpool, I don't think Giovanni Van Bronckhorst made the right call.
do you know what I like about him, Hugh? This is where I think he's really grown with me. At the beginning of his Rangers career, he came in for a lot of criticism, but wasting money, it shouldn't have been a signing. He just shrugged that off.
Yeah.
And the hardest thing in the game is to score goals. Let's not be kidding. Hardest thing in the game is to score goals. And he just keeps head down, and even when he gets a disappointment of getting left out, Liverpool, Napoli, he just keeps coming back and back and back. And I agree with you. I said earlier, if I score a couple of goals today and I'm not in the team against Liverpool, I'm champing the manager's door.
And this one's just about brilliant striker's instinct. Borna Barisic lines up a shot from distance. Cholak's got a lot of ground to make up, and he just runs in. The ball hits the post, and Cholak's he's just there to tap it in. It comes at him. He's almost sort of bundled it into the net, but only because he knew to put himself in that position. Mark Wilson, I've got another goal to tell you about, yeah. But first of all, you cannot argue with what this guy is doing in front of goal.
He's a proper number 9, and that's how he's different from Morelos. Morelos will battle and he'll hold things up and he'll score his fair share of goals, a good goal scorer. But this guy leads the line, and he's always in the right place at the right time, and he can finish it off. Because that, by the way, came back to him at a fair pace, and his instincts, his reactions are top class here.
In our featured championship match that Roger Hanna's at, we've got a goal as well. Ayr United 1, Queen's Park 0. Dippo Akinyemi on 6 minutes, header at the back post from Paddy Redding's cross, and Gordon Dalziel's former side in front. Arbroath 0, Dundee 1 in the championship as well. Talk about the old second season after the fairy tale. Are both really toiling. Zach Rudden has them in front. FC Edinburgh, top of that League One. You would have found that out on Beat the Pundit this week.
So yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Danny Handling, who scored in midweek against Peterhead, has scored again at home to Kelty Hearts.
Have you seen their new home, FC Edinburgh, where they play?
Yes.
Meadowbank. Have you seen where the away fans go?
Yes.
That's questionable. If you're paying money for a
you
ticket,
need a telescope to see the action. You're so far off.
I drove past it last week and I thought that's a big change from where they were. They had a great wee setup at Spartans before. But if you're a away fan going there, Daz, you're not happy. You are miles away behind fences.
It'll never affect me, mate.
I can't help but look forward, Hugh. I mean, there's so much football still to be played. But if this happens again, well, it has. I mean, Cholak scored, and he may well add another. Can he be left out again in the Champions League this midweek?
Well,
how often do you keep doing that?
I think the manager picked the wrong team for Anfield, not just with regard to Morelos starting ahead of Cholak, and not for the first time Giovanni Van Bronckhorst's team selection has been questioned by Rangers supporters. So I agree, you cannot have this guy who scores every Saturday for you and come midweek you leave him out.
Although you could also say that it wouldn't have mattered who played up front for Rangers the other night, that in no way, swayed anything. But just from Antonio Cholak's point of view, or does he just need to accept he is the league striker and Alfredo Morelos is the Champions League striker if he doesn't get the nod this week?
I don't think you can accept that if you're a striker. And plus the fact, okay, Liverpool for me were comfortable at 2. The best chance that Rangers had to score was Cholak. I know Matondo had a good effort as well, but
still
I thought
want to start games though, don't you?
100%, and he's entitled to ask the question because he's doing everything right.
Good game at Easter Road end to end, but no goals there. No goals in our 3 o'clock Premiership games apart from Rangers. Antonio Cholak goal 4 minutes in has them one up on St Mirren. Let's do the teaser, Hugh, if you're ready.
I am.
The first half teaser
with the scottishsun.co.uk/football for the best football news and opinion online.
Quite straightforward. Name the last 4 Rangers players and the last 4 Celtic players to be sent off in European competitions from the group stages onwards. Name the last 4 from Celtic and the last 4 from Rangers sent off in European competitions from the group stages onwards.
Right, go on then, get your guesses in at Clyde SSB and let us know the answers. You need to get them all. You need to put them all on one tweet, and you need to beat everyone else to the punch. It's that simple. So at Clyde SSB, get your guesses in and try and win that first half teaser. I'll read out some of your wrong answers, some of your good attempts, and ultimately the winner a bit later in the half. Morton are 1 up against Hamilton Accies. Jack Baird with the opener there, much to the delight of the home fans at Capello.
And the wee guy that you beat the pundit
yes,
with me,
absolutely,
delighted he'll be there.
I think Wraith were 1-0 down to Cove as well a few moments ago. I forgot to read that one out to you. Am I right in saying, did you see this? They've upgraded in the striker department from your day. Wraith have added a 6'8" new signing.
Have they?
6'8"?
Who is it?
Can't remember his name. It's now 6'8". That's all you need to know.
6'8",
that's the important bit.
A guy that couldn't get a game at basketball.
Incredible.
Must be good in there.
Oh, you would have thought
They'll
so.
never upgrade from the old days, Gordon. Let's be honest.
Stevie Crawford.
Stevie Crawford was a good player, but never in my league with goals. It'll be interesting to see how Ian Murray does up there.
You're still the top goal scorer there.
I'll be the top goal scorer there,
honestly?
until the end of time.
Are you honestly top goal scorer for Wraith?
All time, yeah.
How many?
John Fredrickson is the name you're looking for.
Hundreds, did you say?
Yeah.
You've scored hundreds of goals, have you?
Yeah.
Have you? I'll need to check that.
All time. There'll be a statue there when I go.
It's a bit dark.
That's when you.
No, it's something.
By the way, I'll tell you what. The only thing I will demand of you guys is, okay, Hugh, you're out this. If when I go,
can we not talk this way on a family show?
I want to make sure he's got a stand named after me.
I think that ship has sailed. To be
Any
perfectly
particular
honest.
ground?
Yeah, East Stirling's. That's a supermarket now, isn't it?
Rangers loads of chances now. Arfield close range, good save, and then another one from Ryan Jack's shot led to a corner. Rangers 1 up, all Rangers. And we said it with the Celtic game, Hugh, the key. And you know what? Maybe there's a bit of a contradiction here because Celtic nearly blew it from there. If you score early, it changes everything. There's no nerves set in really as such. And it's certainly if you get the second.
I think that the Rangers supporters were put through the ringer before the game started because they thought that Celtic had slipped up. They were convinced that the league was turning. So they needed to have the consolation of an early goal from their team so that they didn't get further agitated. So it's an ominous start for St Mirren.
Taverniers had a shot tipped over.
Yeah.
Proper one-way
But,
traffic.
you know, it was the same story at Perth. It was an ominous start for St Johnstone. Celtic looked lively, but the old failing, unable to take their chances, eventually led to the 93rd minute equaliser. And I repeat, to the eternal credit, they had the presence of mind to get up the other end and retrieve their own mistake.
Stirling Albion on a very good run, 1 up against Dumbarton, that's a top of the table clash actually, that one.
Who scored?
Robert Thompson on 11 minutes.
Yeah, I think that when you play Rangers or Celtic, you know, in the Premier League, if you're a team, it's the second goal that's the most important. Everybody talks about the first goal changes game. The second goal you against Rangers Celtic, you think that's a game put
done,
to bed.
yeah.
Done. Well, and it showed today with St Johnstone 1-0, the clock's ticking away there. You're getting better, you make a couple of substitutions, you've created a wee couple of chances, confidence, and it nearly worked off for St Johnstone. But it's the second goal for me. The minute the second goal goes in, then it's game finished.
And then there's a food chain element to all this. It's a bit like midweek when Liverpool scored the second. You knew the game was done, and it kind of kills it as a contest. If the second one comes early, there's only two possibilities. You feel either the dominant side kicks on and makes it a real sore one, or you just kind of hang in there, and that's what happens. So we'll see how St Mirren cope with this. Stirling Albion 2 up, a quick fire, 1 there. So Paul McLean has added a second against Dumbarton on 12 minutes as Rangers keep knocking the door. Joe Efford almost goes through for Motherwell. A good tackle from Paul Hanlon. I must admit, I didn't know that passed me by, that Motherwell's bus broke down and needed 3 separate coaches. I mean, of all the places,
I followed the
Dingwall
bus
midweek.
Having
But as well just go to a hotel, wouldn't you?
Having tipped the Celtic result at Perth, if I get this one right about Motherwell winning in Edinburgh, I should retire, really, shouldn't I?
Yeah, I wish you hadn't mentioned it, quite frankly.
No,
but
I'm actually quite hoping he gets this right.
He's on a good run.
We'll hold him.
I mean, he even got the scoreline right at McDiarmid Park.
Yeah, he did.
That is saying something.
On form, Hugh.
I'll give you the thoughts of Ange Postecoglou very soon indeed. I think you'll like it. He'll be interested in it, certainly one way or the other. Chris Cadden, of course, former Motherwell players, had a shot charged down by Sean Goss, so good chance for Hibs. An entertaining game there at Easter Road. Hibs are pretty slick in their passing. I know that's something Lee Johnson was trying to implement, maybe didn't get it all right at the start of his tenure.
But it's a good incentive with Easter Road. You know, either team won there, you're looking at St Mirren are 1 down, it's into 3rd place.
Is the assumption, because that's what it became, no doubt about it, the assumption that Hearts would finish 3rd starting to wear off on anyone.
Oh yeah, you know, we've got a major game tomorrow at Kilmarnock. They're bottom 6, and if Kilmarnock get a result having beaten St Johnstone at Rugby Park midweek, then the fans who have an uneasy relationship with Robbie Nielsen start to do the sums. 2 European ties at home against Fiorentina and Istanbul, 7 goals for the opposition, none for Hearts. Last 2 games played by Hearts, 4-0 for Rangers, 3-0 for Fiorentina, both at Tynecastle. That's another 7-0.
You start a degree of sympathy on the fact that, you know, you do well to get to Europe, but with that comes the increased chance that you get a heavy defeat because you're up against teams like Fiorentina who've got players who used to play for Real Madrid, and then also Liam Boyce maybe out for the season, Craig Halkett at Kyle Rowe as well. Just, you know, centre back issues all over the place. It's not ideal, is it?
Yeah, you look at, for instance, they're not in a good run. I think if you go back even games after that, before that, sorry, they're not in a good run at all. Conceding too many goals, they're too easy to score against for me. I watched the second half on Thursday night, and everybody was talking about, Fiorentina, they've not got off to a great start, but the quality they had in their ranks was incredible. The amount of money they've spent, and I thought Hearts were very lucky. I thought it should have been a lot more.
But domestically, Hearts are the best of the rest here. They've got the best
squad. You still think
squad.
so, though, in terms of this season? You think they'll finish there now?
I still believe.
I think their injuries have killed
them. They will.
Back.
But their injuries, yeah, you're right. Big players have been injured, but they've still got, for me, the best squad of the rest of the teams. So domestically, take the European side to one side. Domestically, they should.
You think they've got
third.
a better squad in paper than Aberdeen, for instance?
Yeah.
Do you?
Yeah.
I think the fact that Halkett, centre back, is a big miss for him. Boyce up the top, he's been a big signing for them, is a big miss. I think Hearts are very, watching them lately.
So that's recently, the only two though. They're big players, I get it, but
I
your
think
squad
they're
has
very,
to be better than two players missing.
I think they're very easy to score against, and I don't think they've got a stronger squad than Aberdeen.
Morton 2, Hamilton Accies 0, Jays Cabia with the second there, so it's all going to plan. The boom boom music will get turned up extra loud when George Bowie comes in, Hugh, if that stays that way or they add to it.
Well, Boogie and me doing a great job at Morton, and they're a good club who've known good times and hard times, and it's nice to see them doing well.
Those Ange Postecoglou thoughts getting ever closer, so stay tuned, we'll bring you them very soon.
When you say very interesting, have you had sneak preview?
No, just generally speaking, I know the Celtic fans still hang on his every word,
because his every word is very interesting, and that's why I quoted him at 12:30 when the programme, or 12 o'clock when the programme started, because he challenged his players today. I don't think they rose to the challenge to everyone's satisfaction, but they got the points, and that at the end of the day is all that matters. But there are still concerns that Ange Postecoglou has to address, and I repeat, and I'll look forward to the calls at 5 o'clock, I think he made substitutions before Celtic had the points wrapped up at St Johnstone, and it almost came back to bite him in a sensitive area.
I'm pretty sure he'll say something like, we should have won by more, but we will find out in the not too distant future. Keep your guesses coming on that teaser, by the way. Remind us of the question, Hugh, if you can.
Yep, it's quite simple. Name me the last 4 Celtic players and the last 4 Rangers players to be sent off in European competitions from the group stages onwards.
Do you know what? It's a really good question, because some of the answers on there I did not expect.
No,
I must admit. Very tough, some of them. How are you two faring?
We've got none.
None. Seriously?
Well, Daz wrote one to me that can't
If
be
it's
one.
anyone got them all right yet, I'm not sure they will have. I think that's really, really tough, I must say. We'll do some wrong answers then if we can. Gaz wants to throw in John Lundstrom.
Nope.
John Flanagan.
Nope.
Were they both in qualifiers? I think that's why.
Look, I've got one.
Yeah, group stages onwards. You have to listen to the question. Group stages onwards.
Lewis says Izagiri against Ajax.
No.
So that must not be in the last 4. That would have been 5th. If you like, I must. I mean, there's a guy on here for Celtic that I had no. You just wouldn't think he would be sent off. Put it that way. Just doesn't get many red cards. The Rangers ones are easier in the sense that they're all more recently. The Celtic list is definitely trickier there. So for instance, I'm going to give some clues early, because I think that people are really struggling. Yeah,
we've got 2.
All 4 Rangers ones. That's a lie. 3 of the Rangers ones are in the current squad, still at the club. 1 has not been away for too long. Celtic ones are a bit harder.
Right.
Okay,
that's a good clue.
We'll leave that there, and you can see how you get on. Your other old team, Gordon. No, not them, not Glen Afton. Man City are 1 up on Southampton. João Cancelo with the goal.
Yeah, they're brilliant.
Number 7 wearing left back, isn't he?
Anything wrong with Haaland today? 21 minutes, no goals. Slacking maybe.
Give it time.
Bubble burst.
Ego.
foot off the gas, call it what you will.
Maybe at the cash line looking and going, what is my balance? Incredible. But what a player he is. What
like some sort of
honestly,
Ivan Drago football robot, isn't he?
I know you laugh at this, but I do think in my day fitting in with him up front, me just playing off him.
You're right,
There's a
we'll
reason.
laugh at that.
Nah, we'll laugh at that. He's just shown me. He's just nudged me there and shown me. Somebody's texting me stats.
Was Roger?
Was it Roger?
Yeah,
Was
Roger.
it? His stats: 300 odd games,
good.
202 goals. That's decent at that level.
Incredible though, Hugh. Just when you think he can't plunge to further depths, he's turned a conversation about Erling Haaland.
Yeah.
That Erling Haaland to himself. I mean, seriously.
I mean, a man who nearly knocked over a sandwich machine today.
Exactly.
We'll have our days.
Bit of a problem for Motherwell. Blair Spittle been in good form. He's gone down a couple of times, so it looks like David Friel says he's gubbed. I don't know if is that a technical term.
Yeah.
So
Is that the
Cumbernauld term, that?
the old diagnosis from the physio? It looks like he may well have to go off. So that teaser's causing one or two problems.
Very good, whoever made that one up. Very good teaser.
Tough. I don't know how you would know all those, I must admit. Yeah, really tough.
Sorry, Hugh, is it supposed to be your teaser? I don't know if I've.
That's all right.
Shatter the illusion that Hugh doesn't actually make them up.
Hugh, well done. Good research.
Tell you what, the top of the table clash in League 2, still in Albion 3, Dumbarton 0. Dale Carrick on 22 minutes. Mark Wilson, you've got your head in your hands. Is that because you're a former Dumbarton player?
Yeah.
Or have you got a wee vested interest in that one, I wonder?
I'm gutted. I always like to see Dumbarton doing well, and I hate it when things are ruined 22 minutes in. To your Saturday afternoon.
Ross Tierney comes on for Motherwell to replace Blair Spittle. Morton 3, Hamilton Accies 0. And it's a former Ackie. It's Grant Gillespie, spent many years there at the start of his career. And it's Morton 3, Hamilton Accies 0. That's a real sore one. Hamilton fans won't be too chuffed.
No,
Especially early on,
John
yeah.
Rankin there, a great young coach, good friend, former
Well,
teammate. But
I
he's
think the
finding it
Hamilton
hard.
Accies fans are calling him a great young coach just now. And by the way, I like John, but I just feel
He's
like that's
sitting ninth. He's sitting second bottom.
Yeah,
You know,
show a bit youth at Hamilton.
yeah. The
Give them a chance.
great thing is Hamilton board, like they stick by their managers for a long time before they pull the trigger. But
What about last season? How John got the job?
but I think there was a lot more to it. I think.
Blasted.
Okay, one swallow again. Good managers gone before that have had plenty of time, I've got to say. But yeah, that is a sore one, especially you're not even at the half time, you're 3-0 down.
one-way traffic at Ibrox. 80% possession for Rangers. They have created all the chances, they've had most of the shots, and they've scored the only goal through Antonio Cholak. It was a good old strikers finish, this one, off the post from range from Borna Barisic, just followed up and tapped it in, and that's the only goal of the game so far.
I think a performance like this for Rangers, the way this game has started, is the result of changing your front three. You know, after the disappointment and the energy that was sapped midweek, that you put in a full new front three. You get pace, energy, people trying to prove a point, I think is right up there as well. And you need that in days like this where things were flat on Tuesday night, and St Mirren could come and make it difficult. Fast start, and Van Bronckhorst has certainly got that. And the only surprise is it is only 1-0 at the minute, because they've been great going forward.
It shows you how quickly football changes. You're going along to Ibrox and Morelos is not number one pick today. Kent's not number one pick today. You know, they were certain starters week in, week out. Obviously taking a dip, and Morelos, we try to get his fitness and his sharpness, but all credit to Cholak. He's banging the goals in.
SFM, it doesn't stand for something dodgy, but anyway, he's on Twitter and he's followed my not so cryptic clue. There is one of these in the teaser. It's a Celtic one that you just don't expect to have been sent off. In fact, I wonder if it's his only
sending off
ever. No, it's not. He's got, I think, one more, and there's only one person on Twitter that's got all 8 of these. So let's read the question again. Let's give some more clues, Hugh.
Name the last 4 players from Celtic and the last 4 from Rangers to be sent off in European competitions from the group stages onwards.
Here are your clues. Rangers, 3 of them are still at the club, 1's not long gone. They're all fairly recent red cards. Celtic, only 1 is still at the club, and he's the one that you would not expect to have been sent off in a European game. The other 3 are a bit trickier. Stranraer 0, Elgin City 2. Russell Dingwall with the penalty on 27 minutes.
Yeah.
You two just talking amongst yourselves.
Sorry.
It's good. No, it's fine. I like to see your teamwork on the teaser. It's actually good to see that you've made up, because I sensed a bit of tension between you earlier, because there was a couple of things bubbling away. You're not happy, and I want to throw this out to the listeners even to see how acceptable or unacceptable they think your case is. You're not happy with Mark Wilson because he won't give you a loan of a suit.
Why do you have to tell everybody?
You're going to a wedding, and rather doing what anyone else would do and going buying one yourself, or even hiring one if the mood takes you,
I wouldn't hire a suit.
you're badgering Mark to give you a loan of his suit.
Look, we're the same size. We're
not the same size. We're not the same size.
But is that not the equivalent of hiring a suit? If you hire
Exactly,
it from
Hugh.
him,
No, because he doesn't need to pay him. That's the key difference.
Exactly.
but it's the same
disgusting
principle.
behaviour.
I know, but it's
It's
all-
classic.
it's always about the money with him.
Classic Tam out of still game.
It wasn't
You look
like
like
a-
a guy that's got a suit. Can I borrow a suit?
See if
was-
it's something a bit more specialist, I'd get that. Like, look, I need a loan of this. I'm only going to use it once. I don't think you go around borrowing folks'
I'm not getting
suits.
married again, so I don't need an arse suit. And plus, if I'm quite willing to get my own shirt and tie and shoes.
Well, that's nice.
No
of you.
way there. He genuinely asked what size a shoe was earlier as well. But he's wanting. So he says, I said, well, what colour are you at? Blue. Definitely blue. So
What the
I'm
same
not bringing in my
size.
suit. You're not
Same
getting a
size
loan of a
and
suit.
trousers and everything.
Is this not this recent weight loss thing and maybe getting a bit carried away? Do you think you're...
As athletic as me.
Well, I can't touch my toes like you, but
Can you not just go and buy a suit? I mean,
can't-
seriously.
I think you're just kidding on.
Right, he
I
said
did
to me the other
mention
day, where do I get a 1 day suit? This is honest truth. Sitting in the office, I said, I've never heard that term before. I said, what's a 1 day suit? Well, a suit that you just wear for 1 day. Pretty obvious. I said, well, why would you want? Because I'll never wear it again. But of course you'll wear it again.
I've
if
got
you buy it.
I've got suits, but I just don't like them.
Because they'll be
they're
the big baggy ones. Won't they? Easier United days.
They're too big in the waist and that for me. Hugh, have you got any decent suits in the
I've
house?
got plenty, yeah.
I just don't know. I just can't imagine going to one of my mates and saying, can I borrow a suit? Unless it was something really specialist or last minute.
Could leave a wee envelope.
Or if
inside
somebody
it.
says, oh, that's a nice suit you got, you're looking smart. Where'd you get it? Oh, it's no mine. It's I borrowed this.
It's Mark Wilson's Celtic TV one.
This is the one he wore when Coolio
that's
stood next
Oh,
to
do
him.
you want me to get you that one? That is
That'd be
famous.
brilliant.
Shiny grey. That would go with your hair.
I'll put a nice shirt and tie to that and look good. Model.
Nah, you would ruin it.
Would
I don't
you
know
dry
what
clean
state.
it before giving it back?
Absolutely no chance.
I would have to
Imagine the
incinerate
state it would come
I'd
back
just
in.
burn it, I think. Throw it in the bonfire.
Penalty Rangers. 2 words that get Scottish football going like no
Yeah,
other.
yeah.
And yeah, the referee has pointed to the spot.
So
we'll
Tavernier, that's 2-0 then, and on we go.
Game over.
We'll
I
see
said the second goal was an important one, Hugh.
if Rangers could double their advantage on pretty much the half-hour mark.
They deserve it anyway, because they've been battering at the door for so
James
long. now.
Tavernier steps up, and you know the rest.
Goal flashes with Clyde Built Home Improvements.
Rangers 2, St Mirren 0. James Tavernier makes no mistake from the penalty spot, and the home side double their advantage. Antonio Cholak sent them on their way, and James Tavernier scores the penalty. Stephen Robinson, I know all managers do this, but he's pretty surprised about the award of the penalty. He feels that they were very, very hard done by. Scottish football always deals in some controversy, Hugh, but yeah, he's not impressed with that.
Well, we don't have VAR, and you saw in the Celtic game during the week 2 goals that VAR rightly disallowed in the case of the RB Leipzig games, but I'm not sure that Rangers were justified getting the penalty. Stephen Robinson will have his say after the game, but until we have VAR, then he'll just have to accept that perhaps harshly he's gone 2 behind, but that's the end of the game anyway. You have to be realistic in life. St Mirren 2-0 down at Ibrox after 30 minutes don't win that game. They don't get a draw either. So the game is at a premature end, and that's why Celtic had such a fraught day in Perth. They couldn't get the second goal to put their own case beyond all doubt, but Rangers have done it early, and that's the end of the match.
Yeah, Rangers an easy street. Gordon always reliable. James Tavernier steps up, yet another goal from him.
Yeah, penalty kick. But I said to you earlier, the one goal, as long as you're only one, you're still thinking you're in the game. That finishes St Mirren for me. I think Rangers will have a comfortable afternoon. It's just a case of sometimes when you've got that 2-goal lead, you take the foot off the gas a little bit. But there's players out there really looking to prove a point forward for Wednesday night's game against Liverpool. Gordon,
they went into the big boys playground at Anfield and they fell apart, but now they're in their own playground and they know that St Mirren at 2-0 down are finished.
Alloa 0, Dunfermline 1. Aaron Comrie with the goal. Tommy Muir's been sent off for Annan Athletic. Man City 2 up on Southampton through Phil Foden. And I think already you lot have got this game won, which is understandable, and it means that Rangers would cut Celtic's gap back to 2 points. That's after Celtic left it extremely late. They were pegged back in the 92nd minute. They won it in the 95th. And here is what Ange Postecoglou had to say.
Yeah, look, it's a game we probably should have put to bed a little bit earlier with the chances we had, and at 1-0 you kind of know it's always a little bit on a knife edge. Particularly they're a team that will just lump balls into the box, and you're going to have to defend sometimes pretty desperately. But they obviously got the goal late. But again, great character and resilience by the lads, and we did it a few times last year, and I think we're going to have to show that at times again this year. And you can win a game of football many ways, but winning it this way also provides you some confidence in the fact that we still have that character and resilience within the group. Beginning of the year we were kind of putting everything away. Now we're going through a patch where we're not as clinical in front of goal, but as I said, during the course of a season that's going to happen, and we're going to have to show that character we showed today if we want to be successful. And like I said, credit to the players, they did it.
A fairly predictable response in the sense, Hugh, that that's how most people would see it. Celtic should have won more comfortably, didn't score, and then that makes it nervous at the end.
Yeah, but it's becoming a predictable and regular response, and there will be occasions when the late goal doesn't come, and for some reason, and Mark Wilson said that even he couldn't put his finger on it, but for some reason they're just not taking their chances as they once did, and that includes Kyogo, it includes Abada, who missed a sitter today, Jota. So yes, they got there, and yes, it was thrilling, and yes, it kept them 2 points ahead of Rangers at the top of the league. But goal droughts are never easy on the eye.
I suppose it's not a drought though, is it? Because they scored 2, Gordon. I know your take on it's always quite,
I'm positive on it,
quite consistent that actually the goals do come if you keep creating the chances.
100%. And as I say, you look at their league record just now, 29-5 against, something like that. That's not bad, Gordon, and it could be a lot more. Yes, we're not denying it. The Celtic manager saying that, look, a while ago we were putting everything in the back of net. But as long as you're a coach and you're watching your team creating chance after chance after chance, you know it's going to click. It'd be worse if you're thinking, where's my next goal coming from? I think that's where the panic button would come in.
Because I suppose, Mark, it's 2-0 to Ayr United, by the way, in our featured championship game. That man Depot again, Roger's favourite, he's got a double, and Ayr 2-0 up on Queen's Park. If you're Ange Postecoglou, Mark, at this point you can probably afford to be still optimistic in that Lila Bada's not just going to keep missing one-on-ones or open goals all season long. If you can't create chances, then you think maybe we need to change something. But as we said earlier, it's kind of hard to tell people, oh, by the way, going to just score that. There's only so much you can then do.
Yeah, well, I think if this was Abada's first season and this is our first glimpse of him when he missed a couple of chances, then you go, oh, he's got a lot of work to do. Abada has scored goals time and again since his debut at Celtic, so he's got it. He's got that killer instinct, and it just so happens that a few of them are going through a period that they're finding it difficult to put those chances away. Like I say, if you keep creating them, with us, it will click and they will get back in form. But the important thing is, when you're going through that stage domestically, I'm talking about, you've got guys like Giakoumakis who will put one of them away in the final minutes. Ange Postecoglou just said there's many ways to win a game, and sometimes this way just just brings things together. I think he learns a lot for his team, that resilience, that it will be sticky sometimes. They won't win every game 3 and 4-0, but he knows he's got players with the character to get them out of hole. Sometimes that's important if you want to win league
The
titles.
hardest thing in football is to score goals. Put the ball in the back of the net. There's no doubt in that. The hardest thing is to put that ball in the back of the net. And yes, there's one or two, getting good chances that you would think on another day would probably score. But I'm with you, Mark. I think as long as you're creating them, it'll certainly come. And I know they got a fright today when St Johnstone went 1-1, but this showed the character to come back and get 3 points.
It's been amplified because of the Champions League games, because of Real Madrid. The performance for 45 minutes was spot on, and those chances that Abada spurned in particular, followed by Shakhtar, that's maybe the one that got away in this Champions League group, followed by Leipzig. Those Champions League games have really brought it into focus, because domestically, there'll always be a Giakoumakis, or there might be an Abada against Dundee United last week. But
what was it? Dingwall, Anthony
Ralston. So it's not so much a concern at home, but because it's cost them recently in the Champions League.
It was against St Mirren.
Well, they didn't create anything against St Mirren.
Yeah, they deserve to get
beat. It's also the first defeat in a year, wasn't it? So it's hard to be too knee-jerk on that.
St Mirren,
if you're the Celtic manager,
totally different from me, St Mirren, because
they didn't create the chances.
The creativity wasn't there. You couldn't have said this one and that one missed. This is adding to our problems.
Right,
Nobody was at it.
A couple of updates. Another shot over the bar from Rangers, so they're very much looking for a third before the break. And if it's not over already, as the guys suspect it is, then it definitely would be if another went in. Joe Newell's shot easily held by Liam Kelly. Slight concern maybe for Rangers. Ben Davies is down at the moment. We know he's not had a straightforward start to his Rangers career health wise, but he's down at the moment. I should say, it doesn't look too serious actually. I think he's going to be fine. St Mirren did have their one moment, and maybe should have done better actually, Gordon. They had a free header in the bar, in the box at the back post. Cross came over, there was a lot of time, but it ended up just going straight at the goalkeeper. It was Marcus Fraser, I think, up at the back post.
I think Marcus Fraser will be highly disappointed.
Quite a big chance, wasn't it, considering they've not been in the game.
You're looking and you're thinking, are there going to be better chances coming, especially when Rangers are 2-0 up, dominating the ball at Ibrox. And when these chances come, you've got to look. I'm not saying you've got to score every chance, but you've got to test McGregor in goals. It was a poor effort.
Can't remember if I even told you about Arbroath's equaliser, Bobby Lynn, club legend. 37 minutes there. Arbroath 1, Dundee 1.
Seems to score every year. It's like the
every
James
year,
Forest, season after season.
It's like once a year. Right,
I thought you meant every year.
No,
that's me going.
I mean, he's been there a long
he's
time.
A fair age now, isn't he?
He's a favourite up there.
I was at school when he scored his first one.
36 in fact.
36,
37 on Monday.
Why would you put your body through that? Play at that age.
He obviously keeps himself in shape, trim.
Paul Hanlon's been booked for chopping down Joe Efford about 22 yards out. One of the old take one for the team. Had to give him a kick, David Friel says, and maybe a free kick to Motherwell. Blair Spittle would fancy it, I'm sure, but he's gone off injured, or I think he did we get confirmation of that? So it sounds like a decent game. Kevin Van Veen and Sean Goss standing over the ball. Bobby Lynn had his testimonial, of course, last Sunday at Gayfield.
Oh, good.
Who did he play?
That I don't know, I must admit.
I would probably say someone up there, St Johnstone.
St Johnstone near Arbroath, is it?
Not really.
You'd maybe go Dundee United.
Okay. Not particularly.
Dundee United. Dundee.
Not particularly, I wouldn't say.
No,
that's certainly not.
Not really.
No. Montrose.
Well, you're getting closer, I
closer,
think, on that.
I was Forfar. Brecon.
Yeah, now you're close.
Forfar.
Now you're getting closer. Kevin Van Veen deflected wide. Poor effort from him. Still goalless there in that one. Forfar nil, he's 5-1 actually, just right on cue. It was against Arbroath legends.
All right, okay.
In-house efforts.
It's always disappointing, that, isn't it? If you're a fan going along and seeing Arbroath against Arbroath legends, which mean a team old guys.
Not everyone got to play in the type of testimonial where they give you a fancy designer watch and you then go get it stolen off you by a magician in Ibiza who says he wants to show you a trick.
And by the way, how he's fallen from the sky, right? He's pitched up here today with a fake Rolex on. It's going backwards. I can hear it ticking. It's like sitting next to Big Ben here.
Do you know what? Actually, you sent me something through the week, Phil, that was interesting.
Did you see that?
So there's a video appeared on TikTok. Sorry, Hugh. I know we've just got you into Twitter, right? We're now. There's video. Mark sent me this video on TikTok, and I don't really know the origins. Is it just a guy?
I just got sent it.
Who's come across this, and it's a fancy. Is it a tag? It's some sort of
tag,
fancy
watch.
Tag. And he's out there on TikTok, and he's not Scottish. I guess he's not got the knowledge required to answer what's a fairly easy riddle for us. He turns the watch over, and on the back of it, it's got Scott Brown CFC. Written on the back.
Scott Brown 8 isn't it?
And he's sort of saying to his followers, does anyone know what this is? You know, who is this? What does this mean? So somewhere along the line, Mark Wilson's not the only Celtic player to lose a very expensive watch.
It turns out it was the watch given by Scott and his testimonial against Republic of Ireland.
So someone else has lost their watch.
He's lost a testimonial watch. And I think this fella is got it from one of these second-hand jewelers. I can't believe that.
Those
magicians, those pesky magicians.
So Andy going along to Renfrew bingo tonight. That's a fake Rolex he's got. He's got the short sleeves on his shorts.
That's not fake.
He was going like to me, what do you think of the watch? What do you think of the watch? I went, it's okay if it went the right way.
Says the guy that wears his golf watch even when he's not playing.
Go what?
I can't
get a golf watch on even though you're not playing.
How
many yards to that vending machine up there?
Toilet. I don't know what I'm hinting to the toilet.
Is that a pitching wedge or a Stirling Albion 4 Dumbarton 0? Ross Geeky on 42 minutes.
It's getting worse. How disappointing.
Are you actually going to the bingo in Renfrew tonight?
No, totally. Yeah.
I said, well, my mate's putting a bingo night on, and it's to raise money.
Ask him how he's getting there.
Is there not a bit of drama? I overheard you asking him for a lift and he's refusing to
listen
take
to this, right? So ask him.
Give your pal a lift after
the
show.
Can you drop me? It's just on the way home. Just a slight detour. Not a chance. So we've came here that I'm going to get.
But hold on, why you're always bragging now about how the quickest way home from here is up and over the Erskine Bridge down the MA. Take your pal to Renfrew.
No chance.
Don't worry, you won't get caught in the Ibrox traffic at all. You'll be fine.
Well, I forgot about that.
Oh, don't.
Yeah.
Why have you brought that up?
But no. He doesn't. He's not giving me a suit, so he's not getting in my car. Petrol's very expensive nowadays. But ask him. We've fixed it, Gordon. We've got him right to the front door. Ask him how he's going. £1. It's only costing him £1.
You getting the Renfrew ferry?
Is that
run on a Saturday night in October?
We Bob sitting at the docks.
I believe it does run, but if anyone knows otherwise,
how many people go to the bingo by sea? I mean,
well, it's a jet set lifestyle.
We Bob sitting there.
Did you even know that was a thing? I bet that's new information for you.
I could not believe that. I had to Google, and it was only £1.
Yeah, it's just along the road. So you come, there's a wee right turn
I
down.
I had no idea about the Renfrew ferry.
Yeah.
Go take the ferry. Okay, well, you want to take me?
You've been on it in the past, have
I
you?
used to take my kids when they were young to the park in Renfrew. We went on the ferry.
It's like that, you know. I've never been on it either.
I'm going over with him just to make sure he gets there.
So you won't give him a lift, but you go and see how he gets on the
I
ferry.
just want to go on the ferry.
Hugh, read the question one more, and I'll do the answers and the winner at half time. But it will give us a wee heads up before we go.
Name the last 4 players from Celtic and the last 4 from Rangers to be sent off in European competitions from the group stages onwards.
I like this. Kai has just sent me this. Fraser Wishart's brought it to my attention as well. Hot on the heels of Crossbar Gate at Livy. Peterhead say a temporary pause in play as the assistant referee asks the Peterhead physio for some tape to fix his flag.
We should be sponsored by a DIY store at this rate. Yeah,
absolutely.
There was did you know one man of the match, and was there a B&Q Cup before?
Yeah.
You got
vouchers.
Vouchers, that's right.
For the guy who can't even change a light bulb.
Absolutely no good to me whatsoever.
What did you use them for?
In fact, I've just found out
The vending machine.
I've just found out
Can I cash these in?
I had
for
my blinds in the wrong window. Incredible. I couldn't pull the things down because I had them in the wrong window.
Right, anyway,
B&Q was
enough
no
about
good
your
to me.
dilemmas. 4-0 East 5-2. We're approaching the end of the first half, so we'll get a good roundup of everything that is going on. It is half time in our featured championship match. Roger Hannah.
Yeah, half time. Ayr United 2, Queen's Park 0. An excellent first half at Somerset Park. And the difference between the sides, Gordon, quite simply, has been the Championship's top goal scorer, Dipo Akinyemi. 2 more goals for the honest man to take his league tally for the season to 9. Queen started brightly. Dom Thomas, really smart play, and a good save for Charlie Albinson after 4 minutes. But Ayr took the lead a couple of minutes later. Good build-up play. The ball fed out to Scotland under 21 left back Paddy Redding. He delivered a deep cross from the left, and there was Akinyemi at the back post to head firmly past Callum Ferry. Good stop at the other end by Albinson again, this time a back post at the back post to deny the Spiders skipper Simon Murray in 17 minutes. And in 32, big Stephen Eze up from the back for Queen's Park, but he headed woefully off target with a goal gaping from a free kick, and he was punished 4 minutes later. 2-0 to Ayr after 36 minutes. A sweeping move involving all of Ayer's front four. Brad Young to Logan Chalmers, Chalmers to Josh Mullen, through ball to Akinyemi, took it into the box, he dummied, he left the goalkeeper Ferry in his backside and then rolled the ball into the net for the 9th of the season in the league. Queen's Park's response was good. A Thomas corner on the right, a scramble in the 6-yard box and somehow hacked off the line. Then Jack Thompson striding forward from midfield, inches wide from the edge of the box as Queen's Park pushed hard to get back into the game, but they almost fell 3 down right on the stroke of half time. Young clean through, looked a decent shot in the angle just inside the 6-yard box, but somehow goalkeeper Ferry managed to extend a left foot and push the ball out. It's just about kept the Spiders in the game. Ayr United 2, Queen's Park 0.
We got any other half-time whistles yet? We do. Easter Road, it's half-time there. David Friel.
Yeah, half-time Gordon, Hibs 0, Motherwell 0. No goals here, but plenty of action and entertainment. It's been a good game. Hibs have had the better chances probably. Motherwell have always carried a threat. Sean Goss actually volleyed wide to the visitors in the first minute with a really decent effort. Hibs went straight up the other end. Josh Campbell, he's been good today. He played Martin Boyle in. The winger took an early shot and Liam Kelly made a good low save. Hibs pressed for a 10-minute spell after that, played some lovely stuff. Eli Yuan raced down the left, but Sondre Solholm this time made a brilliant tackle. Chris Cadden against his old club, he was next to have a go after a real penalty box stramash, but Sean Goss made the block this time. Motherwell were really dangerous in the break. You could see Stevie Hamill's game plan. Joe Efford cut in from the right wing and fired wide from 16 yards. That was in 20 minutes. It's been pretty even since then. Motherwell lost Blair Spittle to injury. Ross Tierney is on. Hibs have had most of the ball. Ryan Porteous had a free kick save, but Motherwell are really good in the break, and Paul Hanley got a deserved booking for bringing down Efford after a brilliant run. He was probably going to get a shot away. They had to take one for the team. That free kick came to nothing, and this one is really still in the balance. Half time, Hibs 0, Motherwell 0.
Any other half times? Yes, Livingston with the squinty crossbar and all the rest of it. How are those temporary goals holding up, Fraser?
Well, I have to say the temporary goal has not been threatened one iota, and nor has the goal at the other end. Perhaps not surprisingly, it's Livingston 0, Ross County 0. And after all that drama you're talking about, Gordon Hunt to replace one of the goal posts, everyone on the pitch has been really flat, no action or excitement. My half-time report similar to that 7 days ago when Livy played St Mirren. Livy have been the better team, but it's been pretty poor stuff by both of them. Just one proper chance which came in the 15th minute. First effort at a goal by either team. A low-driven cross by Christian Montano, did well on the left-hand side, drove it across the 6-yard box, and there was Curtis Guthrie. He was going on the half turn, but he got his foot to the ball and got a solid strike on the ball when the ball went about 2 yards wide, and he really should have scored. Joel Newby was very lively on the left. He took a heavy knock for a Keith Watson tackle. Fans wanted red. The referee said yellow, and then just a couple of minutes later he danced inside Watson and saw his shot, which was on target, hit teammate Guthrie on about the penalty spot. But other than Newby, little in the way of attacking play. Half hour went by, Ross County not having an effort in goal. George in the Livingston goal, a virtual spectator. That said, Libby didn't look scoring either at the other end despite dominating the play. Jason Holt's done his best. He's been excellent throughout the first 45, breaking up the play, driving into the box, but unfortunately couldn't turn any of his real efforts into a goal or even a shot. And then just on 41 minutes, Owura Edwards did have a shot on goal, first that County have had, the only one in the game. He got himself a yard inside the penalty box on the left hand side. His left foot shot was about 10 yards wide. Libby gave a couple of thousand tickets away to school kids, and the parents and adults with them will be hoping the second half is better, because they're all beginning to get a bit agitated around me because nothing is happening here. Half time, Livingston 0, Ross County 0.
I thought Fraser was going to say they're going to ask for money back on free tickets, but surely not been that bad yet. I think that's us got all the half-time stories. Of course, it is half-time from Ibrox, where Rangers lead by 2-0. The first one, a great striker's finish by the in-form Antonio Cholak. Can do no wrong in front of goal in the Premiership at the moment. Lots of chances. Ryan Jack had a shot saved. Scott Arfield had a sniff. Tavernier had one tipped over. That was a sign of things to come for the captain. Cholak went down in the box. Referee Nick Walsh gave the penalty, and as is so often the case, Tavernier made no mistake there. So Rangers on easy street. One chance for St Mirren, they couldn't take it, and at the break it is Rangers 2, St Mirren 0. We will do the half-time scores and the answers to the first half teaser next.
Action as it happens, and your reaction from 5 on the open line. This is Clyde One Super Scoreboard.
It is half time in the 3 o'clock games. Plenty of entertainment out there as always. Some games maybe not quite as entertaining as others, but the scores at the moment: there's a full time from Perth, as you probably know. St Johnstone 1, Celtic 2. At half time in the Scottish Premiership, Hibs 0, Motherwell 0, Livingston 0, Ross County 0, Rangers 2, St Mirren 0, and Dundee United Aberdeen's a 6 o'clock kick-off. In the Championship, Arbroath 1, Dundee 1, Ayr 2, Queen's Park 0, Morton 3, Hamilton Accies 0, Wraith Rovers 2, Cove Rangers 0. In Scottish League 1, it's Airdrie 1, Queen of the South 2, Airdrie 2, Queen of the South 2, sorry. Alloa 0, Dunfermline 2, Clyde 0, Montrose 0, FC Edinburgh 1, Kelty Hearts 0, Peterhead 0, Falkirk 1. In League 2, Albion Rovers 2, Bonnie Rigrose 1, Forfar 0, East Fife 2, Stenhousemuir 0, Annan 1, Stirling Albion 4, Dumbarton 0, and Stranraer 2, Elgin City 2. If the English Premier League does tickle your fancy, I'll give you a quick update there. At the break, it's Bournemouth 0, Leicester 1, Chelsea 1, Wolves 0, Man City 2, Southampton 0, and Newcastle 2, Brentford 0. In terms of that first half teaser, if you're ready, Hugh Keevins, let's put the people out of their misery.
The first half teaser
with the scottishsun.co.uk/football for the best football news and opinion online.
You read the answers, I'll provide the detail. On you go.
I asked you to name the last 4 players from Celtic and Rangers to be sent off in European competitions from the group stages onwards. The Rangers players: James Sands,
Napoli recently, of course.
Glenn Kamara,
Sparta Prague last year.
Leon Balogun,
Slavia last year.
and Kemar Roof.
Also Slavia last year.
The Celtic players: Vakun Bayo
against Rennes back in 2019.
Jeremy Toyan
against Valencia 2019. These are tough.
James Forrest,
Salzburg 2018.
Near Beaton,
all the way back to Bonfire Night 2015 against Molde. If you got them, quite frankly, you're a genius. So well done. Third place, Sideshow Bob. Second place, Liam Mick 334. And the winner of the first half teaser was Mark Robson. Well done to you. The second half won a Who Am I? Just the one name. And we'll get the second halves up and running next.
The team with the biggest support in Glasgow and the West. This is Clyde One Super Scoreboard. Clyde One Super Scoreboard Podcast with Taggart's Motor Group. Already own a Land Rover, Jaguar or Volvo and itching to change it, switch it up, trade it in? They've got superb trade-in deals right now. Call in for a chat. Taggart's, part of the Lookers family. Clyde One Super Scoreboard Podcast with Taggart's Motor Group. If you're thinking of selling, they want to hear from you. Go and take a look at taggarts.co.uk/click and sell and see how easy it is. Taggart's, part of the Lookers family. The team with the biggest support in Glasgow and the West. This is Clyde One Super Scoreboard.
Second half's getting underway. Rangers on easy street. You would have to say it's poised, goalless between Livy, Ross County and Hibs Motherwell. Their featured championship match, Ayr United 2-up on Queen's Park. And as a Saturday night experiment, we've not got to Dundee United Aberdeen yet, but there's not going to be any drama, is there, Hugh, at Ibrox?
No, you owe it to your own intelligence to understand that the game is over. Fraser's half-time report from Livingston was quite distressing, because a game bereft of any incident whatsoever.
We need something. I mean, come on, if you're going to get temporary goals because this crossbar's bent, you need those goals to do something controversial. They need to be moved off the line a bit, and then a big drama.
Yeah, the build up to the game was sensational. and then nothing happened, and nothing
Fraser had this
continues
last
to
week,
happen.
though. He had nothing happening up to half time, and it kicked into life.
True.
If you remember at St Mirren. So,
But
He makes
my,
a year of that. He's every year he's the same.
but my prediction that Motherwell will win at Easter Road is halfway towards fruition.
Is it?
Yeah,
Is that the way it works?
on the basis that
That they're
Hibs,
not ahead?
Hibs are doing, as they say in Leaf, hee-haw.
Well, so far,
No, I think
get
Hibs
the
have had
full
chances, to be
acca.
fair. Hibs have had chances.
I'm the full
I
acca so
think
far.
that one is poised, so we'll find out. I'm going to give you maximum time on this one because I think it'll take a bit of thinking. So I'll give you a teaser just imminently. We'll hear more reaction from Perth. We'll hear Callum Davidson and an update on the likes of Callum McGregor from Ange Postecoglou. We'll take you through the second halves, and then after that, straight away, we'll get your chance to have your say on the open line. Just quickly, right, because you can imagine all around the country, Hamilton Accies 3-0 down at the break. John Rankin comes in, tears strips off the wall. Look, guys, get out there, start the second half better than you started the first. And have lasted 3 minutes. Morton 4, Hamilton Accies 0, Robbie Muirhead.
I know John wouldn't have held back probably at half time. And he's number 2, Darian McKinnon, not shy as well.
No, he's no shrinking violet, is he?
Had the opposite effect in his team. 4-0 down.
Okay, let's do it. Hugh, you ready?
Yep.
The Super Scoreboard podcast is sponsored by Taggart's Motor Group. Taggart's have Jaguar, Land Rover and Volvo showrooms across Glasgow and the West, so you can find a new or used approved car that's right for you. And as Taggart's are part of the Lookers family, one of the largest franchise dealer groups in the UK, you can browse thousands of nearly new and used vehicles in stock nationwide to find your perfect vehicle. They've also launched Click and Sell. It makes selling your car simple by using their trusted dealer network of over 150 sites. Why not give it a go today? See how much you could make on your old car. Taggart's have Land Rover showrooms in Motherwell, Darnley and the north of Glasgow, with their Jaguar and Volvo showrooms found in Hillington. Check out taggarts.co.uk to get your new or used approved Land Rover, Jaguar or Volvo today. Now let's get back to the podcast.
Half teaser.
With the scottishsun.co.uk/football for the best football news and opinion online.
I have played alongside Adel Taarabt, Giovanni Dos Santos and Christian Benteke. I'd been managed by Dougie Freedman. I scored 7 league goals in 17 seasons of football, including multiple seasons here in Scotland, and I have over 40 caps for my country. Who am I? Lot to take in. Played alongside Adel Taarabt, Giovanni Dos Santos and Christian Benteke, managed by Dougie Freedman. Scored 7 league goals in 17 seasons of football, including multiple seasons in Scotland, and I have over 40 caps for my country. Who am I?
I'm putting out there easy today. I think Gordon Dale's got it straight away. Straight away. That tells you how easy it is. No
Have
offence.
a look at that, Wilson. That's what it's all about.
Mark Wilson was still writing down the
Yeah,
question, and
and I
Gordon
was,
Dale's got the answer.
Knowledge is everything in this
Yeah,
game.
I think you're going to make short work of that out there at Clyde
Yeah.
SSB, I must admit.
That's impressive.
Put the jigsaw together, guys.
That's impressive.
I bet you Hannah never got that. as quick.
It's almost too impressive.
Do you know something?
No,
Never
I
any credit.
was watching him. He was just figuring it all out.
Exactly.
Like, I
Gordon.
know he struggles with the most simple of day-to-day tasks, but he's actually not
GD.
bad on the. He's not bad on the old second half teaser,
Thank
I
you.
must admit.
Thank you, Gordon.
I'll bet. Well, good shout. Well done. Well done, Daz.
No credit whatsoever.
No,
I was actually.
Were you
didn't
going
even
there
get
as well?
No. I got one team written down, and
Yeah.
you've got it. The speed.
Producer Chris is now saying you looked at Hugh's answer sheet during the break. He did as well.
No, I did
He's been
not.
caught. Like,
No, I did not.
I know he's been caught because I stood and watched him. That's why I'm saying it's almost. And I haven't seen.
unbelievable.
See,
Hugh, what is with these two?
Well, you see, I like to be tidy, and I took my coffee cup out to put it in the dustbin outside the studio, and in that time this charlatan has come over.
I can't stand that wee guy. I've always said it.
What, Mark Wilson or producer Chris?
Both of them.
Hold on.
Producer
I didn't tell.
Nah,
You barged me at the way, looked under the sheet of paper.
What's the point in that? What is the point in that?
It just made me feel
As the
good.
man who
See,
loves
for-
to come out with the nonsense quotes, what did they say? Winners never cheat, cheaters never win. Or
No,
back to
cheaters
front.
always win, I say. I just, for that 30 seconds, I felt good.
It did feel good.
You know, it was my day.
If Chris didn't tell you that there, he was going to go the full
Incredible.
rest of the show.
I actually do think the question's really doable anyway. Not just because I thought Gordon got it, I still think it's doable. In our featured championship match, it's 3-0 and it's a Dipo Akinyemi hat-trick.
Wow.
It's Roger Hanna's favourite player. Every week he comes in here on a Monday, bores everyone with how much he loves this guy, because you know Roger is like I said, that's his neck of the woods. His school pal, as we saw in the paper,
chairman,
is running
owner, isn't it?
air these days. And Dipo Akinyemi, a 53-minute hat-trick, that's not bad.
Well, a slap in the face for Owen Coyle and his team, who've been in with a chance of going clear at the top of the table.
Yeah, absolutely. Good start to the match that for Ayr United. St Mirren are coming forward a bit more. They're forcing corners, they're getting into areas, Gordon. But the bar obviously wasn't set particularly high in the first half, and they do trail 2-0. So,
well, if you a little bit like St Johnstone, if you're trailing, and especially by the 2, you've got to take risks to try and get back into the game. There's no point sitting there saying, right, okay, we'll try and hold it to 70 minutes and then have a go. You've got to try and get the next goal to even have a chance of getting something. But the more you push men forward, I think it leaves gaps open. And with the pace and the width that Rangers are playing with today, and Cholak looking for more goals, I can only see one outcome.
half-hearted penalty shouts from Motherwell. Connor Shields goes down. There are some protests but waved away. Speaking of Motherwell, was that last season Rangers were 2 up and cruising, and Motherwell pegged them back to 2-2. I've got no idea that doesn't have any bearing on St Mirren's chances of doing it, other than to remind people that it's possible, Mark. But
no, yeah, of course it's possible, but it's few and far between. But I do think Stephen Robinson has an opportunity to push up where he finds himself in the league at this point. If you open up here and really go at it and you get battered, it's no great loss.
So you think he's got goodwill in the tank? It's not like he goes there in the back of some tough results.
Tough results. He's in the bottom half of the table, down there with Killeen, Dundee United, and he gets beat 5-0. He's under pressure, of course, but third in the table.
Does 5-0 automatically make you under pressure?
No, well, backed with a run of bad results.
I was talking about that was just my poor transition to Hamilton Accies, because Morton 5, Hamilton Accies 0. Robbie Muirhead on 54 minutes. Ever heard bits and pieces at double the speed?
Oh yeah,
that's what George Bowie's going to have, and he's going to be excited when he comes in here.
Bowie could play up top the way Hamilton are going about their business. He just doesn't strike me as a guy that played football, Bowie, does he?
George?
Oh, it just doesn't.
No. He probably says that about you, to be fair.
No, he just does not strike me like he's ever kicked a ball in his life, that boy.
I'm not sure there's any expectation on him though for having done so. Okay.
He's having a go at the top man in his radio station.
Listen, the bosses don't mind when you have a go at Mark Wilson, right? For good reason.
Don't touch George.
I'm talking about his football skills.
There's certain people you're not allowed to criticise on here. Morton 5, Hamilton Accies 0 anyway. Robbie Muirhead 4 for Nillies 5-3. Mark Docherty. And still nothing else in the top flight. We await an opener at Easter Road. We await the opener at the Bent Crossbar
Arena.
Sonny Macaroni Arena. What can you do, honestly?
We're waiting a goal for Fraser, because I was a bit concerned. I've known Fraser for a long time, done a lot of shows in here, and he's sounding a bit distressed there. He's looking for something to excite him.
Having done the rounds of AstroTurf pitches in the west of Scotland and beyond, Mark Wilson, what we really need, because you'll know this now, you're in the grassroots coaching game with the charity. The big wheels that are on those temporary goals, they tend to sit like just behind the post, don't they?
They do,
and they're sort of raised up, and you can lower them and you want to move the goals. So what we need is somebody to arrow one into the bottom corner, and although it goes in, it hits the wheel and it pops back out, and it'll give us a right good debate, because we don't have VAR or goal line technology. Will the ref let the goal stand? That's what Fraser Wishart needs, because when the players then walk off in protest, who's the man they're going to go to? They'll go straight to their union rep who's in the stands. I've got this all thought out, Hugh Keevins.
I just want to hear what Passing Move says about it when he comes in during the week. What the time he's having with bangs on the head.
There we are. David Friel, he's a big amateur football advocate. He says, I'm still reeling from one of them at the science parks, apparently.
Oh, did he go?
So he says.
He got a goal that can back out.
Because look at the wee wheels that
I know, because I've obviously put on many a training session. I know
so
the wheels.
sorry.
Yeah, you're dealing with a top professional here. But I can't believe in a game you wouldn't notice that, surely.
No, but it's not that you don't notice, it's that the ref doesn't notice. Everybody else probably does, and then there's a big argument. And
yeah, we need some goal drama, don't we?
Well, we've had ghost goals of a different sort in the past, haven't we? What's the famous one way back in the day? Hugh Keevins, Partick Thistle.
Oh yeah, I was there.
Is that the one he picks the ball up?
Dundee United at
As a
Partick
goal?
Thistle.
What's the one at Partick? The lad in the box picks the ball up.
Yeah, they start
kicks
throwing
it,
it to each other.
and the referee says play on.
And then Partick Thistle, though, they had a recent one as well.
Recent one
Remember,
is the one
just
I'm
a couple
remembering,
of seasons
yeah.
ago. I mean, there was a famous one from way back, but there was one only three.
That's right.
3 seasons ago was that the COVID season? Maybe just before that, round about that time, anyway. So that's what we need. If there's one man that can bring a calm head to that type of controversy, it would be Fraser Wishart.
You know what else I'm thinking? The aftermath of the game, actually fixing this crossbar. So after all the players go home and all the staff go home, Davy Martindale's going to be there, isn't he?
Where do you
He's
think
hammering this
Absolutely.
into
Do you know
place.
what I love, right? That the bit I didn't tell you, all played out on the Roger Hannah. What a game he's seeing. 4-0 to Ayr United. Brad Young this time, he's set up. Matondo's just hit the post for Rangers. Remember, he's in the team from the start again today, trying to make that place his own. No Ryan Kent from the start, and Matondo's hit the post for Rangers. It stays 2-0. I guess that's all he can do, isn't it? Hughes, well, not all he can do. He could score, but what I mean is try and make an impact, try and make that his own. I don't think today's necessarily enough for Ryan Kent to be forgotten about.
No,
but you need to just take your chance when it comes along. Sakala the same.
Exactly. Either we're doing Kent a disservice when the idea was to rest him for Liverpool, or we're right and he's getting a kick up the backside and told to move himself.
Yeah, as I was saying about the crossbar, right, it just shows you the different specialist subjects here. See the picture we got sent and I described it, how they had like a jack thing and they were going to try and straighten the crossbar. To me, because I'm clueless about these things, I thought, yeah, that looks alright to me, I think that'll work. And as the guys were sending the messages through on the SuperScoreBoard group chat, our engineer Albie, man of many talents, can fix anything, he just replied and says, that won't work, the bend will return as soon as they remove it. And of course that's exactly what happened, and they've had to get the
how did Albie know that?
Because he's a top man, Albie.
He's a fixer.
Because
Yeah,
you would
fixer.
think, I'm thinking when you're describing it to me, that's a good idea.
Listen, he's from Drumchapel, you have to know how to bend bars there.
The goalposts have actually been carried out the ground, Mark, so they're gone to goalpost heaven.
They'll be
Fraser.
David Martindale's back
Aye,
there.
they will be.
He'll
You'll work
get
them
in
tomorrow
the
morning.
Davey, you brought the goals home with you.
Who's that?
His wife.
Anyway,
Albie's married.
Fraser Wishart has now seen a goal, a shot on target at least, or a shot. Red card, Motherwell. It's got harder for your team, Gordon Dalziel.
Who is it?
And it's Connor Shields. David Field thinks
He thinks
he's still whinging about that disallowed goal at the science parks, apparently. He thinks it's
no
Connor
one ain't
Shields.
ever seen that goal.
So it's one of the attackers, and maybe Motherwell. Does that become the point where you settle for a draw? Then do you start to
down
take
the
that?
hatch? Yeah, because if you look at the last two games, Dingwall and today, if you'd have said 4 out of 6 points, be quite happy with that.
Man City 3 up and Haaland has scored none of
Hopeless. Dud.
Yeah.
The 900 grand, they won't get it this week because I think that was including the bonuses. So you might need to settle for 500,000 this week. I mean, there is, the talk. It's hard to heat your home and all that stuff these days. So I hope he manages. Hope he gets by.
Income support.
I'd work for a fortnight, Hugh, if that was my wages.
I thought this earlier. You would do 1 week.
I would do 2 just to make sure I was comfortable.
I think for your own benefit, I think it's actually a blessing in disguise that you never got to that level, or that money wasn't around in
I
your
had
day,
some candy in my
because
day,
you
boy.
would not be here.
Do you not think so?
Absolutely not. There is not a chance. And I don't want to turn this show dark, but I just
What with my life? I was
lifestyle.
a very good pro, you know. Look at me now. I'm a very good pro.
I'm not sure. 5-0. Ben Dempsey with the goal for Ayr. This is incredible, Hugh.
5.
Your old pal Owen Coyle is not having a good time. David Field reckons Motherwell's red card was deserved. But 5-0 Ayr United. Roger Hannah will be asking to go to the Championship every week.
Well, I would not have believed that possible, because they had the chance to go top of the league on their own today, Queen's Park, and they're blowing it, and they're really blowing it, and they're really blowing it in Somerset Park.
See, when you look at that league and you look at the goals against at that league, Well, very much the same. Usually a league, obviously, you know, your top teams concede less. It goes all the way, it filters
it tends
down.
to, doesn't it?
But in that league, I mean, Queen's Park were sitting third. They've already conceded 13. They've conceded, was it 5 today? Odd, very odd, and all the teams are more or less the same.
Puts Ayr on to second, yeah.
It would do, yeah. Is this a chance, Gordon? It looks like Ryan Kent's getting nod to come on. Is this now maybe a better position for him to be in? The game's probably won. There's not that same pressure. Can you go on and really express yourself and give the Rangers? And you know what? To be fair, he did get the fourth last week when the game was sort of over. But maybe just a half an hour here to come on and
and I think that is probably the manager's looking for that little bit of response. We don't know what's going on behind the scenes. If he's been pulled aside to say, look, your form's dipped a little bit, we've got a massive game coming up, we're just going to go with the two wingers, Sakala and Matondo, and hopefully we'll have enough to beat St Mirren, which is the case, there's no doubt. But I think it is a big test for Kent to come on, because the one thing they'll be looking at and the supporters will be looking at, let me tell you, attitude. I think he's got a half-hour audition to put himself in the team to play Liverpool. He has to do something significant. He can't just.
Do you think he is in serious danger of not starting against Liverpool? Has it got to that point for Ryan Kent?
Well, yeah, for me,
think so?
Yeah.
Not a chance, Hugh.
Well,
not a chance.
If he comes on and has 30 insignificant, mundane minutes,
a chance,
then I don't think he should play.
And I'll tell you why. Because I don't think that Sakala.
I was going to say, if one of them had been irresistible today, then it would maybe change the thought process.
Yeah. There's not. I know
but
what you're
what
saying.
makes Kent an irresistible choice?
Because Kent's a better
I'm not saying
player.
it's right, but sort of reputation and what's gone before.
100%.
We asked the question last night, didn't we? The guy came on and we said, he said, Kent, he's not doing it, he's not doing this, he's not doing that. Is he undroppable? Yeah, probably. Still, I would still play him tomorrow, was what he said by the end of it all.
Well, the game midweek will look much different, or it'll be a different approach from Rangers, you'd have to think, than what they saw at Anfield.
I mean, ultimately, Hugh, this is the manager who has no concerns about dropping a guy who keeps scoring in all the Premiership games when it gets to Champions League. So,
well, it's quite straightforward. If Rangers lose to Liverpool, they will get absolutely nothing against Napoli in the Maradona Stadium, and it'll all come down to Ajax at Ibrox.
Couple of changes then. There was a handball shout for Rangers, by the way, looking for another penalty. It's not given this one, so Kent and Leon King comes on for Ben Davies and Rabi Matondo. So good for Leon King, Gordon, because we said that he was Rangers' best outfield player at Anfield.
Yeah, I think he deserves to.
But the shape changed.
Yeah, shaped, and it goes to back four, and obviously Davies comes in front of him. But it'll be interesting to see, will he adapt to back 3/5 on Wednesday night against Liverpool again? It'll be interesting because he's brought King on now. See if it was just a case of we're going to stick with this flat back four, they would probably give it the full 90 minutes plus.
Here's your stat of the day from David Friel. Hibs are playing against 10 men for the 4th home game in a row.
Oof. Oh, conspiracy. That is a conspiracy, yep.
Why? There's something in the air, in the leaf.
Yeah.
Makes you send off opposition
Lee
players.
Johnson behind it somehow.
Rangers, we know how that one went.
Yep.
Of course. Kilmarnock and Aberdeen.
Of course, yeah, the old Portis. Yeah. What about that ban for Jim Goodwin?
I know.
Incredible. How 8-game ban.
6 with 2 suspended. That too much for you? Is that excessive?
Oh, well, when was the? I'm trying to think of the last time anybody got banned for that length of time, manager or player.
Well, the comparison people keep wanting to draw is Robbie Neilson. The Aberdeen fans feel he made a similar comment about Lewis Ferguson and got nothing. Never mind that 6 to 8
which is
game.
why I would really like to see the written judgment. I think clarity is everything here, transparency. Let's see the written judgment and let them explain in black and white why Jim Goodwin gets that length of ban, and then you could pick over it and come to your own conclusions. But we are mystified by the length of the ban. Therefore, I'd like to read the explanation of why it was 6 games long with another 2 suspended.
Do you think it's justified?
No, I think it's ridiculous. I think he deserves a slap in the wrist and maybe 1 or 2 games, yes, set an example. But I do not know where they've come out with the 6th game and the 2 suspended. I think it is ridiculous.
I compare it to any player being banned for that length of time.
People
can we remember?
A lot of people on social media, you'll see it because of the very different nature of the offences as well, and what should be perceived to be serious. People keep saying, I mean, Alexander Tonev only get 7 matches for the racist incident with Shea Logan. You get that why people would. I mean, it was 8 years ago. I don't know if things have changed. I don't know. That would be the answer. I don't know if they've started looking at things differently. When I say it's 8 years ago, that's not me saying that makes it okay. I just don't know if if things have been tweaked, or if they look at more serious punishments nowadays. Well, listen, Kyle Lafferty would be the one. If you've asked when was the last time a player got a ban, look, it's not confirmed yet, but he's staring at a long one. And then Hugh, I don't know the value of that. I don't know how. I don't feel comfortable comparing a sectarian remark versus someone being called cheating. They're just completely different. I feel we should let them live in their own, and then argue that their own individual merits.
I agree with you. I come back to it. Once the SFA explained that Jim Goodwin had to get an 8-game suspension, with 2 of them suspended,
so 6 immediately
because of A, B and C. I'd like to know the specific reasons why the ban was so lengthy. And so would Aberdeen, because they have asked to read the findings before they consider their next option.
I don't know what's taken them so long. Erling Haaland's finally scored
900 grand. Here we come.
He's slacked off. Took him 66 minutes today, so I don't know what he's been up to.
That's great to see a player coming into that Premier League.
Opposition defences.
No, but coming into that Premier League and just running amok, because they think, well, that's the best league in the world, but the defenders the price tags are overinflated, and he's just making a mockery of the full thing.
I bet he buys his own suits.
Oh, absolutely, because nobody's the same size as him.
Yeah, he'll not asking anybody at Man City.
It was Hibs that made him, of course. That game for Molde against Hibs, that set him on the way. You've not seen the pictures going around doing the rounds this week of him against Effie Ambrose a couple of years ago.
That certainly made him.
Hibs are obviously going for it. They're the ones pressing hard. They're up against 10 men. They've got plenty of experience of that. Stevenson and McGuinness on for Kennett and Cabraja. Stephen Kelly's come on for Andrew Shinnie for Livy as they look for the
shot and goal.
Shot and goal.
A corner.
Oh, huge chance for St Mirren, by the way, for Mark O'Hara, one of the men who put Celtic to the sword a few weeks ago. Huge chance for him. He couldn't take it on this occasion. And maybe this game's not panning out quite the way the Rangers fans would have hoped at the break, Hugh.
I think if you're overwhelmingly superior, 2 up half time, subconsciously Liverpool to come Wednesday night, the foot goes on the decelerator.
Yep.
Goal flashes with Clyde Built Home Improvements.
And it's been coming, and it's that man who can do no wrong at the moment. It's Ryan Porteous again. He's put Hibs 1 up at home against Motherwell. A header, Motherwell down to 10 men. He scored against Ross County last week. He starred for his country the midweek before, and he's scoring again. It's Hibs 1, Motherwell 0.
It's incredible the time he's having at the minute.
But he's down getting treatment as well.
Well, he'll bounce back up. He'll just rise.
Yeah, you're trying to say that he's not actually doesn't need the treatment, and he's just down.
Andy's got Jim Goodwin done into the bargain and all
ban
that.
for you coming.
Wow, but what a time he's having it. But like when you get into 10 men, Easter Road, it's always going to be hard for Motherwell. Their best hope was holding it for a draw, and that's been breached. So what does Stevie Hamill do now? Does he open up? Does he go for it, or does he try and contain them to the last minutes?
I think you've got if you've got an opportunity, you've got to go for a goal, haven't you? But that's a big blow. Porteous, what a time he's unbelievable, the lad. And just shows you that game for Scotland, the confidence he's got from that, banging the goals in. Brilliant. He'll be off soon.
Hugh was saying about the foot maybe comes off the gas subconsciously, game over. I just wonder though, from the Rangers fans' perspective, Got to make sure this doesn't turn into a Dundee United afternoon, Hugh.
Oh, sure, but
I mean, it's similar, 2-0 up, not taking chances. Dundee United score. If St Mirren were to go on and score, that was your famous day. That was Dugmeat, that was Dross, that was all. So the Rangers fans are in a place just now where they just want the foot to the floor a bit more, and they want it to be really convincing.
Yeah, they're looking for some reason to be optimistic about the arrival of Liverpool, because let's be honest, Rangers have played 3 Champions League group stage matches and they are getting horsewhipped wherever they go. So they're looking for something better.
FC Edinburgh 2, Kelty 0, Peterhead 0, Falkirk 3, Juan Alegria on loan from Rangers, and then David Wilson's own goal. How's it going on the second half teaser, Hugh?
Well, I have played alongside Adel Tarat, Giovanni Dos Santos and Christian Benteke. I've been managed by Dougie Friedman. I scored 7 league goals in 17 seasons, including multiple seasons in Scotland, and I have over 40 caps for my country. Who am I?
I was just about to read all the wrong answers for you off my phone, because I just feel like it's easier sometimes to do Twitter that way, and it just died. It's just dead. That's this live radio for you. I now don't know what to say.
Well, do you want my phone over?
I know that Greg's Gardens got it wrong. I was about to read out his answer, and I know that it was wrong. There was also one in there, right, where the tweeter said, I'll tell you, it's 100% not, and then the correct answer. So that sums things up. Mark, remind me, what were you hoping for in the Please Gamble Responsibly ACCA that you had on between Stirling Albion and Dumbarton?
Dumbarton
to win and both teams to score.
Both teams to score.
It's Stirling Albion 6, Dumbarton 0.
Find out what your cash out is, if you've got enough to get that ferry.
I'm going to stop. I need to stop. I mean, it's pennies I'm doing it.
That should be all you need. Just quit.
That's outrageous.
As long as you've got
Dumbarton are sitting top of the table.
6-0.
6-0.
Yeah, I would have taken Dumbarton, I've got to be honest.
No, you never bet against.
Sorry, I've got £1 in my car for
Still
the ferry
Albion
when I drop you off.
By the way, I'm not even joking. Have you got cash in your car? I think it's cash only for
Hold
the ferry.
on, we've got another one of these at Ibrox.
Goal flashes with Clyde Built Home Improvements.
Is it shades of Dundee United, or are Rangers going to put their foot to the floor? The answer is the latter. It's Antonio Cholak again for the 3rd successive league game. Is that right? A double for him. And it is now Rangers 3, St Mirren 0, and off to the Champions League midweek you go, Hugh Keevins.
Yeah, the dilemma for Giovanni Van Bronckhorst is he has in Alfredo Morelos the top goal scorer in European history for Rangers, and then he has Antonio Cholak, who is scoring for fun. Morelos, I know that Kenny Miller and others were saying he never did any service and what have you, but he didn't look up to it at Anfield. And Cholak is scoring not only goals regularly but good goals.
Gordon, that's it as well. It's the quality of the finish. This one, he's played down the right channel, he chops back inside, and then with the outside of the right boot flicks it into the far corner. It's actually, it's a top finish, and you add that to the one last week where he squeezes it past Craig Gordon, even the header in the game. People are acting like he's just a poacher, but the quality of the finish is very high.
He's just a guy playing with plenty of confidence, Gordon. He believes that he can score goals every game now. He would have been disappointed not to start at Anfield. I totally agree with that. I will be amazed if he in the starting lineup come to Wednesday against Liverpool at Ibrox. In fact, as I say, if it was him and I wasn't, I'd be breaking the manager's door down.
Mark, that's him up to 13 in 16. In fact, if you take out the Celtic game, granted that's a big if, it would be the 4th league game in succession that he's got a double. I know that's not really how in succession works, I get that, right, but just in terms of these so-called bread and butter games and what Antonio Cholak brings to them, Ross County a double, couldn't get one against Celtic. Dundee United a double, Hearts a double, St Mirren a double.
Well, I think it's got to a stage now that you can't leave him at. I get the argument midweek with Morelos and changing the shape, and it backfired. Now I suppose the argument would be stronger if Morelos is, scoring also in those big games or putting in a performance that you go, he was excellent at Anfield, so we have to go with it again. But if you're leaving Cholak out again, then I think it's a problem. I think most people going along to Ibrox on Wednesday will expect Cholak to start the game.
Goal flashes with Clyde Built Home Improvements.
The dodgy goals have seen a goal, and it's Livy 0, Ross County 1. A team that really needed a result down there, and it is Owura Edwards with the goal. We're in the closing stages, maybe 15 minutes or so. The shot hit the bar. Ooh. And then it came back for a header. He couldn't make it up. But Owura Edwards 73 gone, Livy 0, Ross County 1.
It hit the bar. I mean, that's incredible.
I'm not 100%. I think so.
There's 2 bars.
Well, let's just say for dramatic effect.
Nah, it's at the wrong end. Sorry, it's at the wrong end.
You couldn't see that coming though. I mean, it's so unpredictable. Livy at home, all the good stuff to do there. Ross County on this horrendous run, and they take the lead. Game's not over yet, of course, but it's a bit of a shock, that one.
Right, Hugh, I'm back in action. Give me your question. We'll do some wrong answers.
Okay. I have played alongside Adel Tarat, Giovanni Dos Santos and Christian Benteke. I've been managed by Dougie Friedman. I scored 7 league goals in 17 seasons, including multiple seasons in Scotland, and I have over 40 caps for my country. Who am I?
Greg's Gardens thinks it's Kevin McNaughton.
Nope.
Tartan Baw FC thinks it's James MacArthur.
No.
And Alan Lappin thinks it's Clint Hill.
No.
Okay, keep your guesses coming at Clyde SSB. I'll reveal the mystery man's name before the end of the games. So keep coming at Clyde SSB. You can tweet us there all afternoon, and in about 20 minutes time it'll be over to you to get anything you want off your chest. Well, I mean, within reason, for goodness sake. It's a family show. But Celtic fans coming back down the road from Perth, how did that feel? Does it feel like one of those days in the title race you might look back on? Or have you got some concerns about the performance levels? Rangers fans, I think it will be comfortable for you, so you can get in touch after the match. Will we get late drama? Stevie Hamill's made a triple change, Gordon. Maybe he does think, right, we're down to 10 men. Fine, lose 1-0, lose 3-0, whatever. Let's give it a go.
Yeah, and plus the fact freshens it up. He's had a long journey, never got home till late, as we highlighted midweek up at Dingwall, Gordon. So he's brought on some fresh legs to see if he can get something out of this game. They just need to be careful. Hibs will, obviously, with the pace and the movement they've got, maybe catch them in the counter attack.
He has to go for it, doesn't he?
Yeah.
He really does.
Well, there's no point sitting back now.
Again, pretty much like Stephen Robinson. He's got.
Do you think at any point Antonio Cholak says to Giovanni Van Bronckhorst, any chance of leaving me on to try and get a hat-trick?
Well, before we thought maybe he's saving him. He scored 2. He's saving him for the midweek game, and
doesn't play them anyway.
He doesn't play.
So off he comes to be replaced by Alfredo Morelos for what again I assume is the 4th time that's happened. He's been on a double. Borna Barisic goes off for Ridvan Yilmaz, who we don't see too much of.
Did we not have a caller on crying out for this lad to get an opportunity not that long ago? But it's not much an opportunity, is it? What, about 10 minutes plus added on time? He'll be a bit disappointed, but at least he's on the park. He can show for the 10 plus minutes what he's all about.
He signed it. Is it a 5-year contract he signed? So I mean, plenty of time for the future, but you need to make some sort of impact.
Hugh, for Morelos, I mean, last week he at least did enough in the sense that he came on and scored, and I don't know, maybe that had nothing to do with the inclusion on Wednesday. Maybe it was, or was it Tuesday, sorry. Maybe it was always going to be that way. I guess that's all he can do again. If he can come on and make a positive impact, maybe it puts that seed of doubt in the manager's mind.
You can only go on your own intuition, and I think if this guy Cholak is scoring with the regularity he is doing, then how can he not start? And how can Morelos, who hasn't done what Cholak has done this season, how can he be the preferred option? He's had his go at Anfield. Surely you put your faith in Cholak.
We'll find out, but a good debate to kick off next week. What order do the games come in again, remind me?
Celtic Tuesday, Rangers Wednesday.
All I know is that we're on till 11 o'clock both nights, which is fine for you two because you just do one of them.
Yeah,
I'm going to be in here for both of them.
It's a long old shift, but doing 2 back to back.
It's all about the champions.
We'll be listening though at home, won't we? We'll be listening.
I'm sure.
Tuned right in.
Clyde Oneman throws 2. The holiday's obviously not come round yet. Rory McAllister.
when is that booked for?
That's the reason he left Cove, because he booked a holiday during the season. Jim McIntyre, who's no longer the manager. Oh no, he is, sorry.
I was going to say, when did he get sacked?
I'm getting mixed up with Paul Hartley, the previous manager who left Hartlepool. Ignore me. Didn't like it. Rory McAllister left, went to Montrose, and he's scoring. So the flight to Alicante maybe later on tonight. I can't remember what month it was in.
I like that.
Brilliant.
Bradley Barrett of Bonnyrigg Rose has been sent off for a second bookable offence on 77 minutes. Rangers running away with it. Hibs in front against 10-man Motherwell. You'd fancy them to hang on. Ross County have taken the lead. What Livy don't want is what happened last week, to think that they're getting something late on and then be stung again. So we'll see how they respond. And we've given up on Rodgers' game. That was home and hosed a long time ago. Ayr United miles in front of
He's
Queen's
sitting
Park.
in the director's box now, his pal.
Does he get the red carpet rolled out when he goes to Somerset? He's pal into the boardroom.
He's more thoughty down there than me.
Well,
well, you did call them what was it?
Honest man.
No, you didn't.
The
The Somerset boys called them earlier because you couldn't remember.
That's not entirely lacking in accuracy though.
Somerset boys.
Hibs do
and
have
girls.
the ball in the back of the net, but it won't stand. The flag was up. Let's hear more from Ange Postecoglou, talking about Haksabanovic, Matt O'Reilly, and an update. This is the one you've all been waiting for on Callum McGregor.
Yeah, I thought it was okay. I thought Haxa was really good. He was a threat every time he got on the ball. Running at them, or sort of running into little channels, and I thought he was really good. And and Matty was good, but obviously, Matty and a couple of the other guys put in a massive shift the other night. So we just got to manage our way through this period and make sure that we don't sort of overload the players. And for the most part, I thought it worked okay.
He was on Callum a blow, but did you think it might have been even worse?
Yeah, you never know with these things. I mean, like I said, the initial reports and probably the break helps us a little bit in that, they'll miss sort of the next 3-4 weeks, which is a fair amount of football, but with the break, the good thing is he'll be raring to go once the season resumes, and that'll be a massive bonus for us once he comes back.
Does he require surgery?
No.
That sounds a bit more positive.
Yeah,
Firstly,
it does.
doesn't require surgery, and although he'll be back after the World Cup, it sounds like he would be ready near the start of that period, but obviously there will be no games. 3 to 4 weeks, I think. Well, look, I'm not going to hold Ange Postecoglou to that, because sometimes you can throw that out there. It's more than 3 or 4 weeks until the World Cup starts.
I do take the point that you've got 5 weeks of inactivity on the league front because of the World Cup. However, between now and the break beginning for the World Cup, there is a logjam of matches which Callum McGregor will miss, and it's how Celtic negotiate those matches without him that will show you how much damage, if any, has been done by his absence.
Still, ultimately, Mark, from where the Celtic fans were, that's a good update. It's as good as it was going to get when you see a guy going to a specialist in an e-brace, and bow to your superior knee injury knowledge.
No surgery is key there. I mean, because personally for him, that could be anything. You run the risk of reoccurrence and all sorts of problems. If you don't need that, rest and rehabilitation is key, and I think that's a positive. After what we heard that it's going to be a lengthy layoff, I was thinking even the other side of Christmas, but it doesn't sound like that, so I think that's positive.
Yeah, I'll take Mark's expertise on this subject.
How many knee ops again?
Did you have your own knee
plus.
brace? Did it have Willow's knee brace at Celtic Park? But I think every Celtic fan listening to it would delighted with that news, because obviously it could have been operation stuff, and it could have been a lot more serious, Gordon. So that's, as much as you don't want to see players out the game, but that's probably the best news he could have got.
Ange Postecoglou was praising Sir Haksabanovic there for his performance. Did he catch your eye?
Yeah, I thought he done well. I thought Bernabe at left back looks an excellent footballer. I like him. I thought what he'll do is he'll single guys out that's been waiting for an opportunity. Haksabanovic come in. I thought Mark was saying that he was taking up the wrong position and going in behind Abada rather than leaving that space, but he drills a great cross through for the own goal, for the most important one. So yeah, I think he'll take a lot of plaudits out today's game.
Was he one of the plus points for you, Mark?
It was, because we've not seen a lot of him so far, and I thought as the game wore on, he certainly got better. That's right, he obviously creates the first goal, but as the second half wore on, he was getting more involved, took up good positions, and you can see that he's got that quality, to find a pass and create things. So I think there's better to come from him still, but he was at the heart of everything.
And
good
plus the
Celtic
fact, Mark, he didn't play in his normal position today. You know, we usually see him coming off the
I think he has played there a bit for Ruben Kazan.
Yeah, but I don't think he looked out his comfort zone. I've got to be honest.
Clyde won Montrose 3, Blair Lions on 82. And I wouldn't normally mention a scoreline between Wrexham and Barnet, but I can put a Scottish spin on anything. Nicky Kabamba, who used to play with Kilmarnock, there we go, that's your link. He scored to make it Wrexham 7, Barnet 4. That'll look good on the documentary, won't it? Ryan Reynolds will be.
I've watched everyone.
The other day you were saying
brilliant.
There was an episode in it that he got all his pals into his pub and it was a big build up and the game was 0-0, and we were chatting about it and I says, well, Americans obviously don't like that. They like high scoring entertainment, and there you go, 7-4.
I tell you what, they're putting some money, they're really putting their work in there. They're rebuilding that club. Watch that club. That club will come up the leagues.
Right, okay. Curtis Main rattled the bar for St Mirren, by the way. Great effort. So they're not done in terms of not giving it a go. I think the game's obviously looking beyond them at 3-0. Actually, funnily you mentioned, you know, Americans watching soccer, etc. It reminded me we got a sign off from John Higgins earlier, who was listening in Hong Kong.
Super John.
He says, great couple of hours of entertainment. I'm now retiring to bed to watch a box set based on the Dazzler as a football manager, Ted Lasso.
Oh God, I like John, I must admit. He's done now, but I like him.
He's done.
He's not listening. He's in watching Ted. I'm sure he's not watching Ted.
Anyway, Hugh, go on then, the teaser again, if you don't mind. We'll call this it'll need to be a 2-minute warning, I think.
I played alongside Adel Tarat, Giovanni Dos Santos and Christian Benteke. I've been managed by Dougie Friedman. I scored 7 league goals in 17 seasons, including multiple seasons in Scotland, and I have over 40 caps for my country. Who am I?
It's a good question, and lots of you are getting it right, I would say. Let's get some more wrong ones just to point you in the right direction. Do you know what? Not too many wrong ones actually now. I must admit. Yeah, I must say, I think everyone's getting on that one. Gordon Dale, you got it, but only after you read the answer sheet.
Yeah, I'll admit I did cheat.
Takes a bit of the gloss away from it, yeah?
If producer Chris, who I can't stand, hadn't grasped me in, I would have still been dining out in that just now.
I mentioned that Juan Alegria of Falkirk on loan from Rangers had scored earlier. He's now been sent off, 87 minutes, second bookable offence, but I think they're comfortable. Stranraer's Craig Ross also been sent off, a second booking in the 89th minute. It's not great, is it? You've nearly made it, just don't do anything daft. Get to the end of the game. Now we do have a 6 o'clock kick-off tonight, incredibly. Let's get a quick flavour of that, the reasoning behind it, I suppose, and what's going on at Tannadice, because Dave Galloway is there for Dundee United against Aberdeen.
Yeah, really looking forward to this one, Gordon. You know, they sit bottom of the Premiership, Dundee United, the only side without a league win this season, having scored 4 goals in 8 games, and they've conceded 22, so they are desperate to stop the rot tonight. Can they rise to the occasion in front of a big crowd under the lights? Aberdeen fans, well, they've certainly bought into the idea of a 6 p.m. Saturday showdown, with 4,000 of them snapping up tickets, and a number of them, incidentally, will be wearing Jim Goodwin masks with the word banned printed across them in big letters, courtesy of a local newspaper. Confidence obviously high in the Dons camp after last weekend's 4-1 win over Kilmarnock at Pittodrie, but the dreadful record away from home does remain a cause for concern, having won only twice in their last 22 Premiership matches on the road, gaining just 13 points out of a possible 66 available. Both these teams go into this one then with something to prove. Team line's not quite through yet, but I'll give you a shout as soon as they're here.
There we are, look forward to that then, 6 o'clock kick-off on a Saturday night. Experimentation in that one. We'll keep an eye on what's going on in the build up to that with Dave. No Wimpy, I don't think, in Dundee, so he'll be disappointed in his pre-match meal. But Hugh, we're ticking down the seconds. In fact, we do have a full-time whistle. It's in our featured championship game at Somerset Park, and what a treat for Roger Hannah.
It certainly was. Gordon, Ayr United 5, Queen's Park 0. Lee Doolan's men join Partick Thistle and Inverness at the top of the Championship table tonight. Indeed, one more goal and they would have been right up there with the Jags at the top of the table. It took the lead after 6 minutes. Terrific build-up play ending with Paddy Redding delivering a deep cross from the left to the back post, and Dipo Akinyemi heading home past the Spiders goalkeeper Callum Ferry. It wasn't all one-way traffic. Charlie Albinson in the air goal had to deny the Spiders skipper Simon Murray, and Stephen Eze headed way off target when he should have really equalised, and they paid the penalty after 36 minutes. 2-0, a terrific air move involving all of our front four. Brad Young fed Logan Chalmers on to Josh Mullen, and then Akinyemi, who dummied a shot to put goalkeeper Ferry in his backside before rolling the ball home. Thomas went close again for the Spiders with a corner that was somehow smuggled off the line. Then Jack Thompson had a shot wide just before half time, but Ayr really drove home their control in the second half. It was 3-0 after 53 minutes. A pass from Brad Young to Dipo Akinyemi, and he completed his hat-trick, his 10th league goal of the season, the top goal scorer in the Championship. Young went from provider to goal scorer after 59 minutes. Logan Chalmers crossing from the left, and a lovely finish with the inside of his right foot for Young inside the far post. And 3 minutes later it was 5-0. Akinyemi feeding Mullen down the right. His cross to the near post was flicked home spectacularly by Ben Dempsey. A super win for Ayr. Ayr United 5, Queen's Park 0.
Rangers now only one behind because Fashion Sakala has added a fourth. A similar finish to Cholak's second. Ball through from Morelos, cuts in and finds the bottom corner. So Rangers, for the second league game in a row, picking up a 4-0 victory and slowly but surely eating into the goal difference, Gordon, because Celtic streaked ahead so early. Celtic's is plus 24. And Rangers now goes up to plus 16 after today.
Yeah, and after the disappointment Dundee United 4 today, and I'll tell you what, I'm going to be a bold prediction. Sakala, Cholak, Kent, front three against Liverpool Wednesday. Say no more.
That's that then. That's Monday and Tuesday. That's Monday and Tuesday night's debate gone out the window. Stenhousemuir 2, Annan 2. Annan have equalised late on. Stenny thought they'd won it. Tommy Goss again. Hugh, important for Sakala. You're in the team. This is your chance. Go and take it, go and do something, and he does.
And took it very well. It's all very well beating up St Mirren on your own patch, and it's all very well beating up Hearts on their patch, because they're having a bit of a torrid time of it at the moment. The big test for Rangers is to reverse the displays that they have given against Ajax, Napoli and Liverpool.
To be fair though, you
could
can say that's edging towards an impossible task, isn't it? The criticism we had from Rangers fans earlier in the season is that they weren't even winning the league games convincingly, and it wasn't enough. So to be winning 4-0 consecutive weeks, it's a step in the right direction, surely.
In Scotland it is, but
yeah, but again, if we're talking about the likelihood that Rangers can do anything against Liverpool anyway, and the priority being the league title, as you always say,
well, we have to measure what progress has been made in general terms by how they do against Liverpool, because at Anfield they look to be swallowed up by the occasion, and they can't be that way in front of their own crowd.
I think only a couple of weeks ago people were saying that Rangers needed a real performance state, and they got it at Tynecastle. They've got it today. They're 4 up, but I think it could have been even more. I know St Mirren had a couple of chances, but they have been impressive today. Forward players look hungry.
And it is full time, by the way. Rangers 4, St Mirren 0. Gordon Dalziel, Cholak with another 2, Sakala and a penalty from James Tavernier. That will be a job well done for Giovanni Van Bronckhorst.
When you're left out the big games, and let's say that the Champions League is the big games, then you've got to keep making sure that you put that seed in the manager's head. No better for a centre forward to get 2 goals today again. As I said, I will be amazed if he doesn't start. I know what Hugh's saying about the Champions League, and it's very difficult with the quality you're playing against. That can happen. You go to Anfield. I wasn't expecting Rangers to win down there. Napoli have showed they're a top quality side. Okay, over at Ajax, they came unstuck that 4-0 defeat. But in the last 2 league games, that's 8 goals, none conceded against Hearts, everybody says, and St Mirren go there sitting third.
Rangers fans, give us a call. How did you see that one? How pleasing was it? Hugh, let's finish this off.
The second half teaser
with the scottishsun.co.uk/football for the best football news and opinion online.
I have played alongside Adel Tarat, Giovanni Dos Santos and Christian Benteke. I have been managed by Dougie Freedman. I scored 7 league goals in 17 seasons, including multiple seasons in Scotland, and I have over 40 caps for my country. I am Alan Hutton.
Alan Hutton, well done if you got it right. Third place was Lundstrom Loyal. Second place, Graham Darling, 14. And the winner was Andy Riley. Well done. The special shout out has to go to the Blue Room, who said, well, it's 100% not Alan Hutton. And indeed it was. Full time Livy, Fraser Wishart.
Livingston 0, Ross County 1. I think Livy were disappointed despite having more of the ball and more of the game. They just didn't create enough clear-cut chances to win it, and they were hit on the break by County. An Owura Edwards goal in the 74th minute and a rare venture forward into Livy half, winning the 3 points for visitors. Only real chance of a poor first half was 15 minutes. Montana did really well on the left. His low-driven cross was turned wide by Guthrie 8 yards out. Good contact with the ball. We really should have at least hit the target, nothing else in the first 45 minutes. 55, we did actually get our first shot on target. A really well worked free kick on the right hand side into Nuble's feet. He laid it back to Scott Pittman, whose low drive from 16 yards was turned over the bar by Laidlaw's foot. Still Livy on top. County, maybe after their heavy defeat in midweek, happy to defend in numbers and understandably want to keep it tight, but they began to hit on the break, and their hopes and confidence of getting a goal rose. Lagby did really well on the right hand side, dragged his shot across goal and wide from a tight angle, then sub Jordi Hawula went close and he shot just over the bar with his left foot. Good chance for Aya Obalai on 68 minutes. A Sean Kelly corner reached the big defender at the back post. He was only about 2 or 3 yards out, but he couldn't get any good contact in the ball to just bundle the ball into the back of the net, and Laidlaw did well to scramble the ball away. And then the sucker punch on 74 when County took the lead. A long ball, a really poor defensive header by Sean Kelly, headed it left towards his left back Montano, but instead he set Jordi Hawula free. He cut inside and had a left foot shot, it hit the bar, and brilliant reaction by Owura Edwards as the ball bounced in front of him. Awkward ball, he headed the ball home from 6 yards. From their end, it was all Livy pushing for the goal, every player but one often in the County box, but it was all pretty frantic by Livy. Hopeful balls punted into the box, and an Aya Obalai deflected shot was pushed away by Laidlaw, the only time they even came close to equalising in the final 20 minutes. Far from a classic game, but credit County, especially the back four. They covered really well from that 5-0 drubbing in midweek to grab the 3 points and get their season going. Livy's poor form continues. Few concerns for David Martindale as he gets into his next game. Full time here, Livingston 0, Ross County 1.
And it's finished in Easter Road. Did the 10 men manage to salvage anything, David Friel?
They didn't, Gordon. Full time at Easter Road, Hibs 1, Motherwell 0. Hibs fans hailed the returning legend Frank Sosie before the game, but right now it's Ryan Porteous, the modern day hero, who's taken all the applause. Scotland defender made it 2 goals in 2 games with the winner as Hibs moved into 3rd place. What a time Porteous is having just now. He's in contract talks with Hibs right now. They better get on with it because he's going to have a lot of interest as things stand. Motherwell played the last 33 minutes with 10 men after Connor Shields was sent off for bringing down Porteous, but Hibs deserved the win. They had the best chances of the first half. Martin Boyle, Eli Yu and Chris Cadden all came close, and they dominated the second half for the most part against 10-man Motherwell. The red card was clearly the big moment. Shields was sent off in 57 minutes. It was a really odd incident. Martin Boyle tried to race through. It looks as if he almost tripped himself up about 40 yards out. The ball spun into the air and Ryan Porteous pounced to get in beyond the Motherwell defence. Connor Shields, to be fair to him, he tracked his run and he hauled him down. Referee Grant Irvin had little option but to flash a red card. Motherwell were up against it as they tried to hold on, and they only managed to hold out for 10 minutes. Boyle's cross took another deflection, it spun into the air, and Porteous was really brave as he headed into the corner. He took treatment after, but it was okay to continue. Hibs pressed for a second, they passed up several chances. Motherwell also tried to find an equaliser at the end, threw in balls into the box, but nothing came of it. Porteous' goal was enough. Hibs are now sitting pretty in 3rd place. Full time, Hibs 1, Motherwell 0.
What a day it's been, and now it is over to you. 0141 951 1025. Come on then, talk to us. How are you feeling after your team's day at the office? If you're a Celtic fan, you should be back from Perth by now, unless something's gone wrong. So what did you make of that? It's always good to get a last minute winner. Are those the type of victories that can eventually get you towards a title, or are you a bit worried that you're making hard work of some fixtures when you've got a lot of chances? Who stood out for you? What about that Callum McGregor injury update? Should be back after the World Cup. All of those questions, please do pick up the phone. 01419511025. And right now, I'm looking at you Rangers fans, because there are 50,000 of you just leaving Ibrox. So why not give us an eyewitness account of what you saw at Ibrox? A bit of criticism earlier in the season for not killing teams off and not winning as confidently as you should. Well, a 4-0 victory for the 2nd consecutive Premiership game. Cholak gets another 2. Ryan Kent doesn't start the match. How does this set you up for midweek? 0141 951 1025, and we will speak to you on the open line right after these.
After the action, it's your